Chapter 184. Investigation into Xianxia mother and daughter, noodle restaurant opening _5. Theoretically, she and Xianxia weren't very familiar. Xianxia had no motive to kill her. But why, after seeing Xianxia, did she die? Moreover, the more Xianxia looked at Xianxia's face, the more she thought she resembled someone. Who did she resemble? Xianxia squinted her eyes. Li Shu. Right? It was Li Shu. Especially that mole on the left cheek, it was exactly like Li Shu's. Could Xianxia be Li Shu's daughter? In her past life, Li Shu spent her lifetime with Mu Jinbao. Aside from knowing that Li Shu had a son later on, Xianxia never knew that Li Shu also had a daughter. What on earth was going on? The more Xianxia thought about it, the more uneasy she felt. She was still pondering it as she walked out of the ward. Yang, what's the matter? Mo Qishan asked when he saw her absent-mindedly walking out of the ward. Xianxia gave a faint smile. Nothing, perhaps the ward is just too stuffy. As she finished speaking, Xianxia continued, Who was that girl that slit her wrists? What's her relationship with your family? Mo Qishan replied, Actually, there's not much of a relationship. Her name is Xianxia. She is a sophomore student at Beijing Normal University and she works part-time as a personal assistant to my eldest nephew at a base. Because she helped my mother before and she's an orphan, my mother has been quite close to her and has even considered her a potential granddaughter-in-law. So, it turns out that Xianxia had such deep ties with the Mo family. Xianxia continued, She's an orphan? If Xianxia was indeed an orphan, then wouldn't the hypothesis of her being Li Shu's daughter be invalid? She knew too little about Xianxia from her past life, and for the moment, couldn't connect any dots. Yes, Mo Qishan nodded. Do you know her? Xianxia shook her head. No, I just find her somewhat familiar. Oh. Mo Qishan nodded. They reached the hospital lobby. Xianxia continued, Brother Mo, I have something to attend to. I must go now. Please say goodbye to the old lady for me later. I'll let the driver take you, Mo Qishan said. No need, Xianxia smiled. I have something to do downtown. All right, Mo Qishan nodded. Take care on your way. Yes, I will. Xianxia nodded, turned, and left. Soon, her figure disappeared outside the hospital. Mo Qishan leaned against the door frame. After a while, he pulled a cigarette out of his pocket, lit it slowly, propped it in his mouth, looking carefree yet dignified. After leaving, Xianxia went directly to a private detective agency. Just like in the movies, the detective wore a black suit, a black hat atop his head, even holding a pipe, appearing very professional. Hello, beautiful young lady, how may I assist you? Although the detective had seen many beauties, he was slightly stunned when he saw Xianxia. He had seen many beauties, but a beauty with such spirit was a first. Some people, despite being beautiful, lack soul. But the young girl in front of him was different. Her beauty emanated from within. A rare oriental beauty. Help me investigate two people. Xianxia slowly opened her mouth. Which two? The detective handed a pen and paper to Xianxia. Please write the details on the paper. Xianxia took the pen and paper. In no time, the sound of rustling filled the air. About 10 minutes later, she handed the paper back to the detective. These two people. Li Shu, Xianxia? Xianxia nodded. Just investigate what's written on the paper. How many days will it take for the results to be known? The things you want to investigate are relatively simple, so results should come in about a month, the detective replied. The transportation of this era is not developed. Going anywhere required an introductory letter and certification. Moreover, not every city had an airport, so return trips tended to be time-consuming. Xianxia continued, Then I'll come back in a month. All right, the detective nodded. Please deposit the travel expenses, hardship allowance, board and lodging and investigation deposit first, with the full amount being given for travel expenses and board and lodging. How much? Asked Xianxia. The total cost of these fees is 300. The detective continued. After the task is completed, you still need to pay another 500. Since there was no technical skill required for the investigation Xianxia requested, as long as he ran around and asked a few people, the information should be available, so the price wasn't high. Things like rich housewives wanting to know if their men were having an affair outside, those cost more, basically starting from 2000. Chapter 185. Investigation into Li Xianxian mother and daughter, noodle restaurant opening _6. Although it was only a total of 800 yuan, it was kind of expensive for Ni Yang at the moment. After all, she just bought a shop, finished the refurbishment, and was a little tight on cash. But Ni Yang paid without any hesitation. After all, this matter was related to her own safety. She always felt that her past lives' experiences and the cause of her death had a lot to do with Li Xianxian and Li Shu. So, she had to figure it out to have peace of mind. Having lived one life wrongly, in this life, Ni Yang wanted to fully enjoy the great life. She couldn't leave any safety hazards. By the way, the last live's revenge should be reported together. Thank you for your trouble. Ni Yang grinned slightly. The detective bowed. No problem, my surname is Zhou, just call me Xiao Zhou. Ni Yang nodded. After leaving the detective agency, Ni Yang felt a lot more relaxed. This matter could be handed over to the detective for investigation, because Li Xianxian couldn't harm her at the moment. The most pressing thing was to make money. With money came a sense of security. Because the noodle restaurant was opening tomorrow, Ni Yang made another trip to the restaurant. In the restaurant, Wang Jinfang and Zhou Qingshang had already started making fish bone soup in preparation for tomorrow's opening. Since Ni Yang pickled the sauerkraut herself and prepared the chili in advance, making sour fish wasn't a technical task, as long as the fish slices were thin enough. Both Wang Jinfang and Zhou Qingshang were clever people. Once Ni Yang explained, they knew what to do. Aunt Zhou, Aunt Jinfang, thank you for your hard work. Ni Yang walked in with a smile. Zhou Qingshang laughed, it's not hard. It's just some kitchen work. Wang Jinfang grinned, your Aunt Zhou is right, it's not hard at all. With the high wages Ni Yang offered, neither Zhou Qingshang nor Wang Jinfang felt tired. Instead, they felt more energetic the more they worked. There were 4 large pots in total. 3 of them were making fish bone soup, and the 4th was empty. Ni Yang started to make sour plum soup with this empty pot. The dark plum, hawthorn, and other ingredients had been pre-soaked. It would take about half an hour. Being late autumn, the sour plum soup could be stored in a large glass jar without worrying about it going bad. Usually, Ni Yang could serve 600 to 700 customers in a morning when she was street vending. On the opening day, there should be more customers than usual, so she prepared enough for 2,000 servings. The pickled vegetable noodles also prepared 2,000 servings. At this time of the year, even if they couldn't sell all, they could keep the rest for the next day's sales without worrying about spoilage. Even before the opening, there were a few people outside asking if they were opening tomorrow. Ni Yang smiled. Yes, it opens tomorrow. Seeing Ni Yang, everyone happily said, little boss, it's really you. We came yesterday and didn't see you. We were worried that this shop had changed owners. Little boss, what time will you open tomorrow morning? Ni Yang said, we open at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Will the sour plum soup be given away for free to those who come to eat noodles tomorrow? Ni Yang nodded. Yes, everyone who comes to eat noodles gets a cup of sour plum soup. Okay, well definitely come over early tomorrow. In Ni Yang's absence, Sun Chuanxiang made a lot of money. After all, once Ni Yang stopped selling, there was only her store that sold pickled vegetable noodles. People who wanted to eat pickled vegetable noodles had to go to her store. Sun Chuanxiang proudly changed the price of the sour fish noodles to 3 yuans and 5 cents per bowl, 5 cents more expensive than what Ni Yang used to sell. Even so, there were many people who came to eat every day. At this time, Sun Chuanxiang worked overtime to sell pickled vegetable noodles and made more than 5,000 yuan in just a month. With these 5,000 yuan, her son's tuition was all set. To make it up for the hard times her son had been through, Sun Chuanxiang increased his weekly food allowance to 100 yuan. She could make 5,000 in 1 month, 10,000 in 2 months, and 60,000 in a year. What's 400 to 500 yuan spent by her son a month compared to that? The more she thought about it, the happier Sun Chuanxiang got. She even couldn't help humming a little tune as she cooked the noodles. At this moment, her sister-in-law, Xianxia, walked over with a worried look on her face. "Sister. What's wrong?" Xianxia continued. "I heard that Yang, that little girl, has bought a shop, and it will be open tomorrow." Chapter 186. Investigation into Xianxian mother and daughter, noodle restaurant opening? What? Sun Chuanxiang turned pale with fright. Xianxia repeated what she just said. She had been helping out here for some time, and Sun Chuanxiang had given her quite a few benefits. If all the business was taken away by Yang, wouldn't she lose out in the future? After getting a clear understanding of the situation, Sun Chuanxiang dropped the bowl she was holding. She bought a shop? That damn little bitch actually bought a shop. Where did she get the money to buy a shop? Yang had been gone for so long, Sun Chuanxiang thought she was dead. Unexpectedly, she had secretly bought a shop. For a moment, Sun Chuanxiang was both furious and envious. She was just getting by and Yang came to steal her business again. How could someone be so shameless? Then Sun Chuanxiang said, "Xianxia, go to Yang's place now and find out if this news is reliable." "Okay." Xianxia nodded and ran off. Sun Chuanxiang steadied her nerves and continued to serve her customers. Just then, 3 noodle-eating customers arrived at the stall. Before they could get seated, a middle-aged woman came from across the street. "Xiaoli, Xiao, Xiao, stop eating here. The Boss Noodle restaurant opens tomorrow, and you will even get a free sour plum soup." "Really?" The 3 of them were extremely excited. The middle-aged woman said, "Of course it's true. Everyone is heading over there now to get familiar with the place. Do you want to go have a look?" We do. Sun Chuanxiang, standing in front of the iron pot, turned black with anger and immediately chased after the 3 customers, saying, "Hey, don't go. The noodles are already cooked. How about I give you a 5-cent discount per bowl?" One of them turned back and said, "No thanks, the flavor here is not as authentic as what the little boss has." 3 cents a bowl, and they still want it to be more authentic? Pa! Sun Chuanxiang spat fiercely on the ground. "Disgusting poor bastards, I don't even want to do business with you." A large crowd had gathered in front of Yang's shop. Xianxia was one of them, standing in the middle of the crowd, tiptoeing and craning her neck to see the renovation inside the shop. The door was made of glass. The interior was simply arranged, easy to see at a glance. Pictures of pickled fish noodles were stuck all around the walls. It looked hot with sesame, chili, green onion, and cilantro sprinkled on top, a very visual impact, making people salivate and couldn't wait to try a bowl. Color cameras have been introduced in 1936, but at this time, few people used them to photograph dishes for promotion. Yang must be the first in the city to do this. To take these photos, Yang spent quite a sum, a luxury few businesses could afford. No doubt, Yang's idea was simply too brilliant. Many onlookers marveled in their hearts that this little boss was really good at doing business. Some of the other businessmen even planned to copy this business strategy after they got back. When Xianxia got back, she told Sun Chuanxiang about it. Upon hearing this, Sun Chuanxiang was so furious that she couldn't stand it. She could already foresee the miserable scene tomorrow. No, she must come up with a plan to retain her business. Is Yang selling a bowl for 5 cents less tomorrow and also giving out a cup of sour plum soup? Sun Chuanxiang followed up asking. Yes. Xianxia nodded, but not everyone gets a 5-cent discount, only those with cards get it, but everyone does get a sour plum soup. Okay. Sun Chuanxiang nodded, then we'll sell it for 1 cent a bowl. Since fish was not expensive, the cost of a bowl of noodles was about 3 cents. Even if they were sold for 1 cent a bowl, there were still profits to be made, just less than before. Although she was at a disadvantage in terms of taste, she could drop the price. Let's see if Yang has the guts to lower her prices too. She didn't believe that if she sold it for 1 cent a bowl, no one would come to eat. At around 5 o'clock the next morning, Yang arrived at the restaurant. Although the opening time was set for 6 o'clock, people started lining up around 5:30. At around 5:40, a small truck parked in front of the store and 5 or 6 workers started arranging flower baskets at the entrance. Someone also brought a red carpet. And Yang wondered, "Sir, are you sure you've got the right place? I didn't order these things." The flower delivery man checked the delivery note. "It's 518 Yurdist Road, all right. These things were ordered by a Mr. Mo to be delivered here." "Mr. Mo?" And Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. Could it be Mo Chishan? It seemed that there was no one else. While she was thinking about this, Mo Chishan strolled over with a porcelain cat. Yang, I wish you a successful opening. Hey, race a lucky cat for you." The lucky cat originated from our country and had existed for more than 1,000 years. At this time, they were imported goods and quite expensive. "Thank you." And Yang took it. "I'm sorry to have made you spend." Mo Chishan smiled and said, "It didn't cost much, there's no need to worry about it." At exactly 6 o'clock in the morning, with the help of Mo Chishan, Yang unveiled the red cloth covering the signboard. The characters on the sign were simple, just the words, "Sour Fish Noodle Restaurant," which was easy to understand at a glance. "Yang, it's time for the firecrackers." Wang Jinfang handed Yang a pack of matches. Mo Chishan had originally thought that Yang would ask for his help since most girls were afraid of such things. But Yang didn't hint at needing any help. She walked directly to the firecrackers, slowly lit the match, and lit the firecrackers. As the firecrackers crackled loudly, Yang calmly turned around. The moment Yang emerged from the dense smoke, Mo Chishan couldn't help wondering, was she really not an immortal who had descended from the clouds? As the firecrackers sounded, the restaurant was instantly filled with customers. "Boss, we need 3 bowls of noodles over here. We want 5 bowls over here." Chapter 187, Marketing Strategy, Buy a House to Save for Wife. _1 Yang was busy receiving money, serving noodles, and taking orders. Meanwhile, Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang were bustling in the kitchen. Even Mo Baichuan had joined in the delivery of the dishes. Due to the lack of seats in the store, many people ordered a bowl of noodles and squatted outside to eat. They enjoyed the spicy and tangy pickled fish noodles while sipping on the appetizing sour plum soup. The enjoyment was extreme. There was a lively atmosphere both inside and outside the store. Those who had never eaten pickled fish noodles couldn't help but order a portion. Business was booming, and the queue of people never ended. This scene made the bosses of nearby shops turn green with envy. Sun Chuanxiang arrived quite early in the morning. Unlike usual, there was no queue in front of her stall this morning. Seeing the deserted stall, Sun Chengxiang's face fell. She knew where all those customers had gone without having to think about it. And Yang, that damn bitch. Sun Chuanxiang had thought that lowering the price of pickled fish noodles to 1 cent a bowl in the morning should surely attract many people. However, reality had dealt her a heavy blow. Seeing Sun Chuanxiang like this, Li Xiangji was scared to even breathe. After all, her livelihood now depended on Sun Chengxiang's mood. After a while, Li Xiangji hesitantly suggested, "Sister, don't worry. Maybe it's too early and everyone hasn't come out yet." This reason was far-fetched. Even Li Xiangji didn't believe it. Sun Chengxiang's eyes bulged. "You go now and see what's happening in that bitch in Yang's store." "Oh," Li Xiangji immediately took off her apron. "I'm going now." Li Xiangji was flabbergasted as soon as she reached the entrance of the noodle restaurant. What does it mean when a door is like a marketplace? This was what it meant. What a contrast between boom and bust. If Sun Chuanxiang saw the scene at Yang's, she would probably jump off a building out of anger. Even seeing this made Li Xiangzi's eyes red with envy. Sun Chuanxiang used to make over 5,000 yuan a month just by running a stall. According to Yang's business, doesn't she make 20 to 30,000 a month? My goodness. That's terrifying. 20 to 30,000. That's more than what most people make in several years. Although Yang's noodles were really delicious, smelling the fragrance from the shop, Li Xiangji couldn't help but swallow her saliva. After going back, Li Xiangji told Sun Chuanxiang about the situation. Hearing this, Sun Chuanxiang was consumed by jealousy. As long as Yang existed, She couldn't continue her business. That little bitch was driving her into a corner. Sister, don't worry, the reason why Yang place is busy is because of the good taste. If we can improve our flavor, we won't worry about having no customers. Li Xiangzi's words hit the nail on the head. Every person is a hidden foodie, so they don't care if the pickled vegetable noodles are 3 cents a bowl or 1 cent a bowl. They just want a good taste. After all, there aren't many good things to eat these days. Pickled fish is a novelty. Sun Chuanxiang understood this, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't replicate Yang's flavor. No matter how she treated the fish, there was always a fishy smell, and the pickled vegetables from the market didn't have enough flavor. Li Xiangji continued, Sister, we can think about getting the recipe for the pickled fish from Yang. Her pickled fish is so delicious, there must be a recipe. Upon hearing this, a spark flashed in Sun Chengxiang's eyes. Right? Why hadn't she thought about it before? She could find a way to get the recipe. Li Gongqing had been thinking about Yang's opening day, and so he had come early. Seeing the busy figure in the shop, Li Gongqing almost thought he was hallucinating. Was that Mo Qishan? As Song Beiqing's personal assistant, Li Gongqing was familiar with everyone around Song Beiqing. He even knew about Mo Qishan's cancelled engagement. Although Mo Qishan was a bit of a waste, he was born into a distinguished family, being the biological son of Lady Mo. He couldn't possibly be reduced to working for Yang, right? Moreover, Mo Qishan was spoiled by Lady Mo who wouldn't even scold him. How could he be working in such a servile way? In this era, being a self-employed worker was considered lowly. No matter how much money you made, you didn't have a good reputation, let alone working for a self-employed worker. Chapter 188, Marketing Strategy, Buy a House to Save for Wife. _2. What's going on? If it wasn't for his own eyes witnessing it, Li Gongqing definitely wouldn't believe it was true. Mr. Mo. Li Gongqing walked over to Mo Qishan and greeted him respectfully. Mo Qishan gave him a puzzled look. Since Mo Qishan was often idle and unstable like a shoddy job, it was normal that he didn't recognize Li Gongqing. Li Gongqing quickly explained, Mr. Mo, my name is Li Gongqing. I am the assistant to your nephew Song Beiqing. I came to pick up breakfast for the old lady. It was then that Mo Qishan remembered that Yang was responsible for preparing breakfast for old lady Mo every morning. You wait a moment, I'll go call Yang for you. Yang? Is Mo Qishan really that close with Yang? What's their relationship? Could it be a romantic one? A talented young lady like Yang wouldn't be attracted to an aimless person like Mo Qishan, right? Li Gongqing suppressed his surprise, nodded and said, Okay, thank you, Mr. M. Mo Qishan then turned and headed to the kitchen. A few moments later, Yang came out with an insulated box and 2 bowls of noodles. Thank you, Xiaoni. Li Gongqing took the insulated box and noodles with one hand and handed the money to Yang with the other. Xiaoni, I wish you a thriving business and a fortune every day. Yang smiled and said, Thank you. The noodle restaurant was very busy. After getting his takeout, Li Gongqing didn't stay long and quickly left. It wasn't until around 1 p.m. that the number of noodle eaters began to decrease. Yang roughly calculated, from 6 o'clock in the morning until now, over 7 hours, nearly 1,500 servings of noodles have been sold. Excluding the 500 discounted bowls, the rest were sold at the regular price, meaning these 7 hours of business brought in more than 450 yuan. This does not include the price of the sour plum soup because it was complimentary today. The soup will definitely bring in more when it's priced separately tomorrow. As Yang did the math, she hung a sign saying, taking a break, on the glass door outside and planned to rest for an hour and a half and be back in business at 2:30 p.m. As important as money is, it can't compare to good health. Brother Mo, you've worked hard today. Yang took the bowl of noodles from Mo Qishan's hand and placed it in front of the last table of guests. Mo Qishan smiled and said, It's no big deal, I was just wasting time anyway. Yang continued, It's getting late now, brother. Let me take you out for a meal. Mo Qishan had helped her all morning without ever taking a breather, and Yang wanted to treat him to a good meal. And Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang in the kitchen were equally busy. If you really want to treat me to a meal, Mo Chishan replied, just cook me a bowl of noodles. After a hard morning's work, how could Anai Yang just treat him to a bowl of noodles? But Mo Chishan, as though seeing through Anai Yang's thoughts, sat down opposite her and sternly said, I really just want a bowl of noodles. Anai Yang gave a small smile. All right, just wait a bit then. As she finished speaking, Anai Yang turned and headed to the kitchen. In the kitchen, Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang were constantly busy. Even though there weren't many customers now, they were still preparing for the afternoon's business. Despite the morning rush, neither of them felt tired. When they were in the countryside, they used to work in the fields. No matter how hot the sun was, they could not rest for a moment. Compared to the dirty and tiresome farm work, this was nothing. Aunt Zhou, Aunt Jinfang, you've worked hard. Anai Yang rolled up her sleeves. Don't worry about it for now, go rest in the front room for a while, I'll cook the noodles for you. Zhou Qingshang smiled and said, it's not laborious at all. Wiping her apron, Wang Jinfang said, Yang, we brought our own meals, you don't need to fuss. She had given them such a high salary, how could they still eat Anai Yang's noodles? A person must know their boundaries. Remember, at this time, people only earn about 30 yuan a month working in a factory, but Anai Yang gives them 60 yuan a month. Anai Yang said, Aunts, you don't need to bring meals for noon from now on, I have plenty of noodles here. Unless you don't like the taste of the noodles here. On hearing this, Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang quickly explained, No, it's not that we don't like the taste of the noodles, it's just that, Anai Yang interrupted their words with a smile, since you don't dislike the taste of the noodles, don't bring food during lunch hours anymore, or else you'll be upset. Chapter 189, Marketing Strategy, Buy a House to Save for Wife. 3. Upon hearing this, both Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang felt immensely grateful. They understood that Anai Yang wanted to spare them the awkwardness, hence she said it in that manner. Although it was just a matter of one meal in the long run, that could actually save them a considerable amount of money. At the same time, they both secretly resolved to work even harder for Anai Yang from now on. Anai Yang, guiding Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang to the exit, said, 2 aunts, you may rest now. I am capable of handling this by myself. The noodles will be ready soon. Zhou Qingshang protested, but we really did bring meals for today. Anai Yang chuckled, then you can take them home and eat them tonight. Besides, I didn't cook only for you too, Brother Mo, and I also need to eat. Upon hearing this, Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang relaxed significantly and went outside, sharing a laugh. Anai Yang tied her apron and started cooking the noodles. In no time, she prepared 4 steaming bowls of pickled fish noodles. With everything she needed already available in the restaurant, Anai Yang added other food ingredients like crispy fried eggs, green vegetables, bean sprouts, pork slices, chili, green onions, and cilantro. It transformed the simple dish into a deluxe version of pickled noodle soup. Anai Yang placed the bowls on the table and said, Aunt Zhou, Aunt Jinfang, Brother Mo, let's eat. Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang glanced at each other, lifted the bowls from the table and said in unison, we will eat over there. Young people should have their space for conversations. It wouldn't be appropriate for 2 old ladies to sit between them. The 2 women took their bowls and moved away. Thank you, Yang. Mo Chishan accepted the noodles from Anai Yang naturally. Let's see how it tastes. Anai Yang watched Mo Chishan, anticipation in her eyes. This wasn't the first time Mo Chishan had tasted Anai Yang's cooking. Although he knew that the noodles wouldn't be disappointing, the incredible taste still left him awestruck. The noodles were chewy and the sour and spicy soup was a delight. The fish was remarkably tender and delicious. No hint of fishy taste lingered, making one crave more. Despite being someone who didn't indulge in culinary pleasures, Mo Chishan couldn't help but sigh. No wonder there were so many people queuing up this morning. It's really delicious. Mo Chishan praised, giving Anai Yang a thumbs up. Anai Yang laughed and said, then you have to finish all of it. If it's not enough, I can make more for you. That's enough. Mo Chishan replied. The bowls were huge and filled to the brim with generous portions of meat, eggs, and vegetables. Even with Mo Kishin's appetite, he would be unable to eat a second bowl. The noodles were just as satisfying for Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfeng. Taking advantage of the afternoon break, Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfeng took a nap while Ni Yang and Mo Qishan stepped out for a stroll. Walking shoulder to shoulder, their conversation flowed effortlessly. Ni Yang's understanding from her past life made it easy for her to converse on any topic with unique insights. There was no barrier to their communication. Mo Qishan was astounded. He felt like he had found a treasure. The duo discussed the future development trends. Ni Yang sighed and said, "If we have the money, it would be great to invest in real estate, especially in Beijing and Shanghai. It would be best to buy as many houses as possible there." In this era, people are generally content with their current situations and could not imagine the significant changes in the major cities in the next 2 or 3 decades. For ordinary people, owning a couple of properties would ensure financial stability for their later years. During Ni Yang's successful past life, she read a news report about a wealthy man in China who amassed his fortune in the 1980s by investing in real estate. He was able to collect an average rent of 30 billion a month. That would be 360 billion a year. And all of this with zero investment. There was no risk involved. All he had to do was stay at home and collect the rent. Not only could he never spend this amount of money himself, but he could also leave the property for his descendants to inherit. Indeed, this was the true meaning of perpetual wealth. Mo Qishan, of course, had no idea about the future developments. Still, he nodded and kept Ni Yang's words in his mind. Having commitments in the afternoon, Mo Qishan left after dropping Ni Yang at the noodle restaurant. Just when he reached the corner of the street, a black car pulled over. "Brother 6. Wu Darning got out of the car. "How is the situation with sister-in-law?" "She is doing well," Mo Qishan replied as he got into the car. Chapter 190. Marketing Strategy, Buy a House to Save for Wife. _4. Wu Darning drove away. Inside the car, Mo Qishan then spoke. "Darning, didn't you mention before that you wanted to invest in something?" Wu Darning nodded. Wu Darning was a rural man with poor living conditions in his family home. He hoped to invest his spare money into something that would increase his earnings and help his grandparents, parents, and siblings live a better life. In the 1960s and 70s, before the one-child policy, it wasn't uncommon for rural families to have 7 or 8 children. Wu Darning, being the middle child, despite having made some money while working with Mo Qishan, he was unable to provide for his large family. "Invest in property," Mo Qishan then said. Wu Darning, puzzled, asked, "Brother 6, are you talking about buying houses?" Mo Qishan nodded. "Your 6th sister-in-law is correct. In the future, property will certainly play a vital role in the economy. Investing in several houses in Beijing will be stronger than any other investment." He carefully thought about it. Actually, what Ni Yang said made a lot of sense. In these times of great change, university graduates are allocated jobs in big cities, farmers are coming to big cities to find work, individual businesses are moving to big cities. As the population increases, the rise of house prices is inevitable. Wu Darning laughed. "Houses can't be eaten or worn, it's enough to have a place to live. Besides, I have a homestead in my hometown. I plan to build a brick house during the new year so the whole family can move in." In the 80s, most farmers lived in straw or mud houses. Building a brick house was a remarkable thing, equal in honor to having a college student in the family. Wu Darning's ability to build a new house in his hometown can be considered as bringing honor to the Wu family. Mo Qishan chuckled. "Instead of spending money on building a house in your hometown, it would be better to buy a large house in Beijing. This way you can use it for investment and for living. It simply kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Building a house in the countryside at this time is not cheap. It is more or less like buying a house in Beijing, and buying a house may even be cheaper." "Let's forget about it." Wu Darning scratched his head while laughing. "My family in Beijing doesn't have any relatives. If I really bring my parents and grandparents over from my hometown, they may not be used to it. How could a house possibly appreciate in value? With Beijing's population so thin, what if he ends up with lots of vacant houses that he can't sell?" Who will he cry to then? In Wu Darning's view, the suggestion to invest in property is simply unreliable. Brother 6, where are we going now? Wu Darning turned to look at Mo Qishan. To the sales office. Mo Qishan replied nonchalantly. Huh. Wu Darning looked at Mo Qishan in confusion. To buy a house. Mo Qishan explained. Wu Darning was almost crying. Brother 6, I'm not buying a house. He was going to go back to the countryside to build a house. I'm buying it for myself. Mo Qishan continued to say. Upon hearing that, Wu Darning heaved a sigh of relief. Brother 6, doesn't your family have enough houses? Mo Qishan lit a cigarette. To save up, for the dowry. Buy a house for dowry? Was Mo Qishan kicked in the head by a donkey? Mo Qishan, as if he saw Wu Darning's concerns, laughed and said, Don't worry, your sixth sister-in-law won't be wrong. Why don't you also buy a couple of houses? No way. Wu Darning firmly replied, I need to save the money in my pocket to build a little Western-style building back in the village. A little Western-style building. By that time, he could definitely dazzle those who used to look down on his family. Just thinking about this made Wu Darning somewhat excited. Mo Qishan exhaled a puff of smoke slowly, as you like. It's not right to push someone on such matters. Even when they left the sales office, Wu Darning was still in a state of bewilderment. Brother 6, shall we go back now and cancel all those houses? You shouldn't just buy so many houses because of what your sixth sister-in-law said. With so many houses, if he can't sell them in the future, he won't have a place to cry. That's not the way to court a woman. Although it's not his money, Wu Darning still feels sorry for Mo Qishan. People in love are just idiots. Mo Qishan usually seemed like a very astute person, but when he gets confused, he gets really confused. Mo Qishan just laughed. It's okay. If they eventually don't sell, you'll just consider it as a loss in gambling. Chapter 191. Marketing Strategy. Buy a house to save for wife. _5. Lost in cards? What kind of card game could cost so much money? As they were talking, Mo Qishan added, In a few days we'll be passing through Shanghai. Let's buy a few more houses in Huangfu district. Buy more. Wu Darning was speechless. Your sixth sister-in-law said, Mo Qishan continued, that only houses in Beijing and Shanghai have high investment value. Wu Darning, not daring to speak ill of Yang, could only whisper, Not everything your sixth sister-in-law says is necessarily right. Mo Qishan laughed. Whether it's right or not doesn't matter, what matters is that she said it. Wu Darning. Hopefully, Mo Qishan won't regret it later. He could only offer a slight warning and avoid saying too much. Thinking about all that money going down the drain, Wu Darning felt a twinge of pain. If he had that much money, he'd rather spend it on more food and clothes, not like Mo Qishan. Even putting it in the bank to earn interest would be better than buying houses. Sigh, Mo Qishan was the type who just did not turn back until he hit a wall. At 2:30 in the afternoon, the noodle restaurant opened on time. Even though the afternoon crowd wasn't as large as the morning, all the tables in the shop were always occupied. By dinner time, there was a line forming again. Luckily, Yang had prepared plenty of noodles and fish soup in advance, otherwise, they wouldn't have been enough. Despite good business, Yang didn't stay open too late and closed punctually at 7:30. Firstly, it was for health reasons. Secondly, it was a marketing strategy. She had to keep her customers longing, maintaining an air of mystery to attract more new customers. If the restaurant were open all the time, it might seem too cheap to customers. That night, back home, Yang sat on the bed and went over the day's accounts. She found that the day's total business actually amounted to 850 yuan. The total cost of electricity, water, gas, labor, and ingredients was about 2 yuan. After deducting these, the net profit was 750 yuan. Along with the good sales of facial cleanser and aloe vera gel in the past few days, she could make around 900 yuan a day, which amounted to 27,000 yuan a month. Even though she could earn more than 20,000 yuan a month, Yang was not satisfied at all. After all, in her previous life, she was a boss playing with millions within minutes. She had to work harder. After securing the money, Yang went to cook. Suehua had already washed the vegetables, so Ni Yang just had to cook them. In no time, Ni Yang had cooked 3 dishes and a soup. The first dish, stir-fried pork with cowpea. The Compendium of Materia Medica records that cowpeas nourish qi, strengthen kidneys and spleen. So, cowpeas are good for preventing premature aging. The second dish, braised pig's trotters. Pig's trotters are rich in collagen, which helps enhance breast volume. Although Ni Yang already had a nice figure, she still needed to maintain it. The third dish, spicy stir-fried bamboo shoots. Compendium of Materia Medica supplement notes that bamboo shoots are beneficial for the 9 orifices, circulation of blood, clearing phlegm and removing food stagnation. As such, bamboo shoots are very good for slimming. With her daily hearty diet, she had to prevent her figure from becoming misshapen. The soup is cuttlefish and winter melon soup. The Sui Shi Residence Diet says, cuttlefish cures abnormal uterine bleeding, irregular menstruation, hernia, and is most beneficial for women. The combination of cuttlefish and winter melon has a good blood-nourishing effect. Thus, this dish is very beneficial for the female friends. Just as she was setting the 3 dishes on the table, Ni Qinggui arrived. "Yang Yang, how was business today?" Ni Yang smiled and said, "Pretty good." Ni Qinggui picked up the teacup and said, "Yang Yang, it's not easy for you to have achieved this. You and your mother have finally seen better days after all the hardships. I wish you more success in the future, as the saying goes, prosperity in abundance." From starting with a street stall to owning her own shop now, Ni Qinggui had seen Ni Yang's growth. Others might think it was easy for her to make money and buy the shop in less than half a year. However, only Ni Qinggui knew how hard it was for Ni Yang to attain this success. Every morning, she woke up between 2 and 3 o'clock. Before dawn broke, she was carrying 400 to 500 kilograms of soup to market. Rain or shine, she never took a day off. Without seeing it firsthand, it would be hard to believe that a 17-year-old girl could be so hardworking and endure so much. Her resilience was even beyond that of average adults. Ni Qinggui had never admired anyone before, but Ni Yang was the first. Ni Zihua and Ni Yang raised their glasses. "Thank you, Sister Qinggui/Auntie Qinggui." Chapter 192, Marketing Strategy, Buy a House to Save for Wife. _6. After dinner, Ni Yang went back into the kitchen to prepare the ingredients for Mrs. Mo's breakfast the next morning. The next morning, Ni Yang was up before 3 o'clock as usual. Firstly, she had to prepare breakfast for old Mrs. Mo, and secondly, she had to go to the shop early to prepare the fish soup and noodles. There isn't a business owner who doesn't rise early. In the deep autumn at 3 o'clock, it was still pitch black outside. There were no streetlights in the rural area, and there was not a person on the road. Occasionally, one could hear the strange cries of birds, like the howling of ghosts and wolves. If it were anyone else, they would probably be scared out of their wits. But Ni Yang was not afraid. In her previous life, what had she not experienced? In fact, ghosts are not the scariest things. What's truly terrifying is the human heart. At 4 o'clock, Ni Yang arrived at the shop. She started simmering sour plum soup, preparing sour fish, and soon the small kitchen was filled with warm steam. Although Ni Yang told Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang to arrive at the shop by 6 o'clock every morning, they were there at 5. Since Ni Yang was so good to them, they couldn't be ungrateful. One should know how to repay kindness. Seeing Wang Jinfang and Zhou Qingsheng, Ni Yang exclaimed surprisingly, "Aunties, why are you so early?" Wang Jinfang and Zhou Qingshang immediately started helping. "We are used to getting up early at home, and we can't sleep. It's better to come early." Both Wang Jinfang and Zhou Qingshang were mothers of several children. If this were in a later era, they certainly could not have come so early, because as housewives, they had to wake the children, cook for them, send them to school, and take care of the children, along with a list of other chores. But at this time it was different. The children of this era were especially resilient. Normal children of 5 or 6 years old could cook by themselves. 7 or 8-year-olds were even more adept at working. The few of them worked together, and soon it was 6 o'clock. As soon as the door to the noodle restaurant was opened, the waiting customers rushed in madly. Another busy day had begun. Li Gongqing was earlier this morning than yesterday, and when he delivered the meals to the Mo family, it was only a little past 8. There were guests at the Mo family today, a woman in her 30s, slender, with her back to Li Gongqing, her face somewhat unclear, but seeming pretty from her silhouette. "Old lady, this is today's breakfast." As Li Gongqing's gaze slid over the woman's face, he couldn't help but feel a chill on his scalp. He could not have imagined that the face of this woman could be so. It was beyond description. If he had to describe it, it looked like a toad's skin. Her face was filled with big and small pimples, and her forehead was covered with acne marks and pockmarks. Ordinary people also suffered from pimples, but most would have only 2 or 3. Like her, with a face full of pimples, Li Gongqing had never seen before. It was too ugly. "Aunt, seeing that you and Xiaodai are fine, I am relieved." The young woman spoke softly, her voice gentle as water. Li Gongqing was stunned again. This woman is Mrs. Mo's niece from her maternal home, Lin Pingping? What was known was that Lin Pingping used to be one of the top beauties. When did she become like this? This was too horrifying. With these complex emotions, Li Gongqing left Mo family. Inside the house, the conversation continued. Old Mrs. Mo sighed. "Pingping, what exactly did the beauty specialist say about your face?" The most important thing for a girl was her face. Speaking of this topic, Lin Pingping also sighed. She didn't know how much money she had spent for this face, how many skincare products she bought, but they were all useless, and it was getting worse and worse. She had been like this for over a year, and her relationship with her husband was deteriorating. Her husband didn't even want to touch her for 5 or 6 months. He bluntly stated that she was disgusting. Last month, for fear that her face would be contagious, he forcefully separated their rooms to sleep. She didn't know how much she had suffered from her mother-in-law and father-in-law. Now, there at her in-laws, even her food was served in a separate bowl. If it were not for her aunt Mrs. Mo supporting her, her husband would have divorced her a long time ago. The purpose of her visit to the Mo family today was to check up on Mrs. Mo and Mo Hudi, and also to warn her in-laws that she had someone backing her up. Although both her parents died, Lin Pingping won't allow herself to be bullied. Chapter 193, Marketing Strategy, Buy a House to Save for Wife. Annie, you don't have to worry. Experts in cosmetics abroad said my face will be fine. It will heal in a short time. Lin Pingping didn't want to worry the old Mrs. Mo, whatever her age. Upon hearing this, Mrs. Mo at last sighed relief. That's good, that's good. After a pause, she continued, Pingping, I hope you won't hesitate to tell your auntie anything you find difficult. Lin Pingping nodded, I know, auntie. Mrs. Mo then asked, by the way, is Hongbin treating you well? Do your in-laws give you a hard time? When Pingping saw her auntie worrying about her, she felt the urge to cry, but she held it in. Yes, they are treating me well. Especially Hongbin. Im's such a beautiful woman he married, he wouldn't dare to treat me badly. She and Hongbin were in a love marriage. At that time, Hongbin's family had nothing. His parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters all lived in a tiny 30-square-meter house provided by his father's office. When she told Mrs. Mo about this, she was strongly opposed. But in the end, she couldn't withstand Lin Pingping's determination. At their wedding, Mrs. Mo gave them 100,000 yuan in dowry. Lin Pingping used this money to buy a bigger house, help Hongbin's brothers and sisters to go to school, and used her connections to help Hongbin climb the ladder at work. This is where Hongbin's success today comes from. But no one in his family remembers her favor. She loved Hongbin wholeheartedly, but in the eyes of his family, that was Hongbin's talent and even something to be flaunted before others. Look at how capable our son is, even the daughter of a rich family insists on marrying him. No one knew of her deep affection for Hongbin hidden behind his talent. Because of her reverse dowry, to Hongbin, she had no status in his family, and regardless of her contributions, they thought it was only to be expected. Unfortunately, Lin Pingping had to silently bear the bitterness, unable to voice it out. Because she chose this path, She had no reason to go to anyone and complain. She could only bear it, regardless of how Hong Bin and his family treated her, she could only bear it. She has to cling to the last bit of her dignity. Hearing her talk like this, Mrs. Mo was relieved. Right, marrying you, such a good girl, the Hong family should count their blessings. Ping Ping, if you ever suffer any injustice, you mustn't keep it to yourself. Since your parents passed away early, your uncle and I are your surrogate parents. Speak up and we will help you stand up for yourself. She knew that Ping Ping's in-laws were something else. This is why she opposed the marriage back then. Lin Ping Ping nodded. Don't worry, Auntie. Mrs. Mo continued, let's not just chat, come eat breakfast. Ping Ping, listen, I recently met a young gifted doctor named Ni Yang. Not only is her cooking delicious, but her medical skill is also excellent. She is the one who cured Xiaodai. Lin Ping Ping exclaimed surprisingly, really? As she opened the insulated box, Mrs. Mo replied, of course. Would I lie to you? As soon as the lid of the insulated box was lifted, an overwhelming aroma filled the air. Looking at the food inside, Lin Ping Ping said, Auntie, have your teeth been feeling better lately, and are your eyes feeling better as well? You hardly have dizzy spells, and you seem to be in a better spirit, isn't it? Mrs. Mo was surprised. Yes. How did you know? Lin Ping Ping smiled. I could tell by looking at the food. The food? Mrs. Mo was puzzled, then she said, right. Ni Yang does cook delicious meal. Lin Ping Ping continued, Auntie, you might not know, but the food is not only delicious, there's a lot of thought behind it. Mrs. Mo asked in confusion, what do you mean? Lin Ping Ping picked up her chopsticks and pointed at one of the dishes. Look at this. It has mushrooms and shrimp. Mushrooms are polysaccharides that can prevent dental plaque, and shrimp are rich in calcium and can strengthen teeth. And look at this chili fried lettuce. Western medical research has found that lettuce is beneficial to the 5 internal organs, tonifies the muscles and bones, promotes heat, opens up the meridians, removes oral odor, and improves eyesight. And check out this albizia porridge. Albizia has the effect of relieving irritability, alleviating depression, calming restlessness, regulating mood, and promoting mental clarity. As a Western medicine practitioner herself, Lin Ping Ping could tell at a glance what benefits certain foods provided. From this, she could tell that the chef's thoughts were meticulous. The meal she prepared was suitable for seniors, and she must have done some research beforehand. Upon hearing this, Mrs. Mo was stunned. Does the food really have all those benefits? Yes. Lin Ping Ping nodded. Do you think I've been practicing medicine all these years for nothing? Mrs. Mo's eyes were filled with surprise. No wonder she has been feeling healthier lately. The food must have been well combined. Ni Yang really put a lot of effort into it. The most touching point to Mrs. Mo was that Ni Yang had never tried to earn credit for this in front of her. If Lin Ping Ping hadn't mentioned that, she wouldn't have known that there was such insight hidden in ordinary food. Ni Yang is truly a blessing to their family. Thinking of this, Mrs. Mo couldn't help but smile again. Lin Ping Ping continued, by the way, Auntie, I heard that something happened to Xianxia. Is she doing better now? Chapter 194. How to be an onlooker. Bubbledale hearing this question, the smile on old Madame Mo's face gradually faded. Not yet. The doctor didn't rule out the possibility that she might fall into a vegetative state. She is currently still under observation. A vegetative state? Lin Ping Ping was quite frightened. How could this happen? Li Xianxia is only 20 years old this year. If she truly ends up in a vegetative state, how will her future days go by? Old Madame Mo sighed. Xianxia has always been quite an obstinate child. This situation wouldn't have occurred otherwise. Lin Ping Ping reached out and held old Madame Mo's hand. Auntie, don't worry. Xianxia is a good girl. She will definitely be okay. I hope so. Old Madame Mo sighed softly. Come, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's eat. Lin Ping Ping nodded and served old Madame Mo a bowl of porridge before serving herself. Having received excellent etiquette training, Lin Ping Ping didn't make any noise while eating. However, right as the porridge went down her throat, She couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. My goodness! The taste was simply amazing. Lin Pingping had never known that a simple bowl of porridge could taste so delicious. She immediately reached out and grabbed some lettuce heart. The lettuce heart was cooked to perfection. It was crisp, refreshing, with a tinge of spiciness that winded around her tongue and teeth. The aftertaste was endless, making one want to take a second bite after the first. Upon seeing Lin Pingping's reaction, old Madame Mo smiled and asked, "How was it? The taste was good, wasn't it?" Lin Pingping quickly nodded. Good? It's more than good. It's absolutely delicious. Lin Ping had assumed with such nutritious food, the taste would be minimal. To her surprise, the taste was incredible. The most humble ingredients had been used to create extraordinarily impressive flavors. It was obvious that the cook had an ingeniously versatile heart. If it's delicious, then eat more. Don't go trying to be like those other girls, starving themselves for the sake of looking good. Old Madame Mo added more porridge into Pingping's bowl. The aunt and niece enjoyed their meal. Grandma Auntie. Mo Baichuan entered the room and greeted. Baichuan, you look increasingly energetic, Lin Pingping said with a laugh. How about it? Have you found a girlfriend yet? I'm not in a hurry. Mo Baichuan sat on the sofa opposite them. Lin Pingping continued, you're not getting any younger. Time to get serious. At this point, Mo Qishan had descended from upstairs. Mo Baichuan immediately stated, these things should be arranged by the elders first. Mo Qishan had just been dumped by Zhao Jingrong, and people were still gossiping about it. Mo Baichuan was purposely stirring the pot. Old Madame Mo knew that the relationship between this nephew and uncle had always been tense. Mo Baichuan was a remarkably outstanding person, already a big leader at the age of 26. As for Mo Qishan, he was already 27 and yet he remains unaccomplished and idle, naturally generating friction. One being her son and the other her grandson, with none of them being in the wrong, old Madame Mo found it difficult to mediate the situation, so she could only pamper them and find ways to mediate. Lin Pingping could also sense the underlying tension between them and tried to shift the focus. Your sixth uncle is your sixth uncle, and you are you. We are discussing something with your grandma right now. Without showing any anger or embarrassment, Mo Qishan walked over and said nonchalantly, you, my impressive nephew, need not worry about your sixth auntie's affairs. Somehow, Mo Baichuan found the word impressive to be a bit grating. Was it just his imagination? As an underachiever, Mo Qishan had no right to mock others. If it weren't for his seniority, Mo Baichuan would never tolerate sharing a room with such a person. In his workplace, someone like Mo Qishan wouldn't even qualify to serve him tea or water. After saying this, Mo Qishan greeted Lin Pingping and old Madame Mo. My dear, I have some business to attend to, so I won't entertain you for now. Remember to stay for dinner tonight. Lin Pingping cheerfully replied, you go handle your business, don't worry about me. Busy doing what? A look of derision flashed in Mo Baichuan's eyes. Besides chasing women and fooling around, what serious business could Mo Qishan have? Every time he thought about Mo Qishan going out to chase after Ni Yang, a surge of nameless anger rose within Mo Baichuan. Such an adult man being completely taken in by that little girl, Ni Yang. No wonder he was still a good-for-nothing at 27. How to remain indifferent. Bubble tea _2. Indeed, him being labeled a waste by the outside world wasn't without reason. The conflict between uncle and nephew subtly spread across the room, with an oppressive atmosphere taking over. Old Lady Mo shifted the conversation smilingly. Baichuan, Xianxia is still hospitalized, have you visited her? Upon hearing this, Mo Baichuan seemed to have been reminded of something, to which he replied, Grandma, didn't you mention last time that you wanted Ni Yang to look into her condition? Old Lady Mo sighed. Indeed, she went. But Yang says she specializes in difficult and complicated diseases and she doesn't know what to do when it comes to physical injuries. Mo Baichuan slightly furrowed his brows. According to his current investigation, Ni Yang's medical skills were indeed good. She cured Yang Gobeo's epilepsy and even cured Mo Hudi's stubborn illness, which had earned Dr. Ace's admiration. How could such a person be helpless against a minor injury? Could it be that she just didn't want to treat Li Xianxian? Then why wouldn't she want to treat Li Xianxian? Everyone says that doctors must show benevolence. Where was Ni Yang's benevolence? Could it be just because Li Xianxian was an orphan, lacking the financial and influential backing provided by the Mo family, that she didn't want to cure her? Or was it because Ni Yang didn't want to save Li Xianxian because of him? Mo Baichuan narrowed his eyes as he pondered, increasingly feeling that this was the case. After all, old lady Mo saw Li Xianxian as her future granddaughter-in-law, and Ni Yang had her own ulterior motives towards him. In this case, Li Xianxian was his main rival in love in the eyes of Ni Yang. This explanation made sense. After all, who would save their own love rival? Right, it must be this way. Mo Baichuan had always been meticulous in his thought processes, his deductive abilities far surpassing that of average persons, and the conclusions that he inferred were usually not far from the truth. Ni Yang was truly malicious, choosing to stand by and watch Li Xianxian's demise just for the sake of having him to herself. What right did she even have to be a doctor? The expression on Mo Baichuan's face grew increasingly dark. Seeing him like this, old lady Mo asked in concern, "Chuan, what are you thinking?" Only then did Mo Baichuan snap back to reality. "Nothing, I'll pay a visit to Li Xianxian." Old lady Mo laughed. "This child, why are you calling her by her full name?" "I'm leaving." Mo Baichuan picked up his suit on the sofa and strode towards the door. Old lady Mo stood up and called after him, "Chuan, could you also check with Dr. Wang about Xianxian's current condition on your way?" Without turning his head, Mo Baichuan replied, "Got it." Old lady Mo returned to the sofa and let out a slight sigh. Lin Pingping remarked, "It seems like it's possible for Baichuan and Xianxian to be together." Old lady Mo chuckled and said, "Who knows? This boy is always up to something. Furthermore, Xianxian currently is." The rest of her words went unsaid. "Auntie, don't worry, Xianxian will definitely be fine. And by the way, there's a nice girl in our office. I am thinking about introducing her to the youngest one. What do you think?" Lin Pingping interjected. At this, old lady Mo's spirits lifted. "Really?" Lin Pingping nodded. Old lady Mo asked excitedly, "What does the girl look like? What's her character? Is she good-natured?" The most important factors for her now were the girl's character and appearance. Family background was not that important. Lin Pingping smiled and said, "Her character and appearance are quite good. She's from a scholarly family. Her maternal grandfather was once a local scholar." Old lady Mo nodded her approval. Good. Scholarly families are great. I love those who can reason." In old lady Mo's heart, her favorite candidate was Ni Yang. However, Ni Yang was clearly not an ordinary person, and old lady Mo worried that Ni Yang might not be interested in Mo Qixin. So she had never mentioned this matter. Now that Lin Pingping had a suitable person on her side, it was not a bad idea to introduce her to Mo Qixin. After all, love at first sight might happen. Things related to fate are unpredictable. Lin Pingping continued, "Let's settle with this then. I will talk to the girl once I am back, and later I will call you." "All right, thanks for your help," old lady Mo said, and then asked, "By the way, Pingping, what's the name of the girl you mentioned earlier? How old is she?" Lin Pingping laughed and said, "Look at me, I was so excited that I forgot to tell you the important details. The girl's name is Huang Ran. She is 22 years old and a college graduate. Though only holding a college diploma, she still held a better status than Mo Qixin. Mo Qixin hadn't even completed high school. He simply had no right to be picky." Old lady Mo nodded her head. "That's perfectly fine then. Let's go with this." How to stand by and do nothing. Bubble tea under Sir 3. "Grandma, aunt, are you going to find an aunt for uncle?" Mo Hudi suddenly appeared. Her bright eyes stared at Mrs. Mo and Lin Pingping. These days, Mo Hudi's condition bettered each day. She who originally weighed only 30 kilograms, now weighed 45 kilograms. She used to walk slowly, but now she can run. Lin Pingping gave Mo Hudi's head a gentle pat. "Yes, we are looking for an aunt for your uncle." Mo Hudi tilted her head and thought for a moment. I think Sister Ni Yang is very good. Old Lady Mo laughed gently. As if suddenly remembering something, Lin Pingping took out a long box from her bag. Oh, Hutie, Aunt Pingping has prepared a gift for you. Open it and see. Perhaps because Mo Hutie had a similar experience to hers, she couldn't help but feel pained when she looked at Mo Hutie. Mo Hutie couldn't wait to open the box and exclaimed joyfully, "Wow! A Picasso pen! Thank you, Aunt Pingping." Over the years, although Mo Hutie had always been sick and never went to school, she was exceptionally bright. Under the guidance of home tutors, she had mastered subjects beyond high school, showing particular talent in literature. She enjoyed practicing handwriting and writing in her spare time, which was her only hobby over the years. A good pen was a more precious gift for her than anything else. Lin Pingping smiled and said, "Pin, glad you like it, Hutie." Mo Baichuan made a trip to the hospital. Li Xianxian's condition wasn't looking well. She lay on the bed, looking like a lifeless corpse with a horrifyingly pale face. Mo Baichuan couldn't understand how Ni Yang, being a doctor herself, could idly stand by witnessing Li Xianxian in such a state. Did she not have even a shred of sympathy left in her? To win his favor, Ni Yang really was resorting to any means. And that Mo Chishan was an idiot too. He had lost sense of right and wrong. How could he not see through Ni Yang's poor acting? He was an embarrassment, and if the century-old foundation of the Mo family were to fall into his hands, then the demise of the Mo family was not far off. Mo Baichuan was deeply frustrated. Today was Ni Yang's second day of business, and it was still booming, but the sour plum soup did not sell as well as she had imagined. She prepared over 2,000 servings of sour plum soup, and by noon, only 500 cups had been sold. Just so you know, over 1,500 servings of pickled fish noodles were sold out. If the sales of sour plum soup don't pick up, she would make less money each day. This couldn't go on. Ni Yang was taking orders and counting money while thinking about her situation when she went into the kitchen to serve noodles. She overheard the following conversation in the bustling dining hall. Mommy, I want to drink the sour plum soup." The young mother whispered quietly, "Sweetie, sour plum soup is for heat relief and can only be drunk in summer. Drinking it in winter is not good for the stomach." No, I want to drink it. You'll catch a cold and need an injection. Are you scared of injections?" The child immediately stopped asking for sour plum soup. "Mommy, I'll be a good boy and eat my noodles. I don't want an injection." After hearing this, Ni Yang knew what to do. She smiled faintly, striding swiftly to the back. By 7:30 in the evening, Ni Yang promptly finished business as usual. The noodles were all sold out, while quite a few sour plum soups were left. Ni Yang took 2 jars and filled them with the sour plum soup, giving one to Zhou Qingshang and one to Wang Jinfeng. "Auntie Zhou, Aunt Jinfeng, the sour plum soup is nothing special. Take it home and let the kids have a taste." Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfeng declined it again and again, but they couldn't resist Ni Yang's enthusiasm. Ni Yang was a good boss and knew how to win people's hearts. She knew what to do to ensure her employees worked faithfully. Giving away the sour plum soup would not only flatter them but also prevent wastage. Why not do something that is of mutual benefit? After work, Ni Yang didn't immediately head home. Instead, she went to buy some fish and noodles. The noodle seller and Ni Yang had become good friends. "Ni Yang, why did you come personally again? Didn't I tell you I would have Uncle deliver the noodles to you every morning?" Ni Yang was pretty and had a sweet mouth. She knew that doing business wasn't easy, so when she bought noodles, she never bargained. The noodle-selling couple liked her very much. How to stand by and do nothing. Bubble tea _. Ni Yang said with a smile, "I just came over intending to buy some other things." "Auntie, do you have cassava flour here?" Yes, we do. I'll get it for you right away." The noodle shop owner's wife turned around to fetch the cassava flour for Ni Yang. Yang, how much do you want?" Ni Yang thought for a moment. "Give me 2 caddies for now." "All right." The shop's owner's wife weighed a full 2 caddies of cassava flour and handed it to Ni Yang. "Auntie, how much is it?" The owner's wife said with a smile, "Never mind, it's just a bit of cassava flour." and Yang ordered over 60 yuan worth of noodles from her every day, so a bit of cassava flour really wasn't much. Since Yang was so generous with them, they couldn't be stingy either. It's a two-way street after all. Thank you then, Auntie. Yang took the cassava flour and continued, by the way, how much is this cassava flour per caddy? I might order in large quantities in the future. The owner's wife lowered her voice. I sell it to others at 1 cent per caddy, but I'll give it to you for 8 cents. Yang thanked her with a smile. After buying everything, Yang hopped on her bike to ride home. She had to pass Li Dongliang's shop on the way back. However, when that familiar figure flashed past on the road, Li Wei, who was engrossed in cementing his English knowledge, suddenly brightened up. Was that Yang? When he realized it was Yang, Li Wei quickly went after her. Unfortunately, Yang was too fast, and Li Wei couldn't catch up with her. With no other choice, Li Wei returned to his notes, feeling dejected. He had originally planned to ask Yang where she had disappeared to these past few days. Xiao Wei, what's wrong? Qian Jinfeng came out of the shop, looking puzzled at her precious son. Li Wei put on a smile. Nothing, I just thought I saw Yang. Yang? Qian Jinfeng frowned slightly. Is she back selling at the stall? Didn't she rent her stall to someone else? I don't know. After leaving this remark, Li Wei walked into the building looking glum. Qian Jinfeng was left standing there with mixed feelings. Why has Yang come back? Where is she selling now? Is her business good? Is she back to seduce her precious son? She can't allow her son to get entangled with the likes of her, so Qian Jinfeng ran after Li Wei, speaking gravely. Xiao Wei, you're a senior high school student now, and next year you're going to take the college entrance exam. You absolutely can't let yourself get distracted at a time like this. Yang might have a pretty face, but can a face provide meals? From what I can see, I doubt she even finished primary school. How could she possibly be good enough for you? You're going to be a university student. I got it. Li Wei responded casually, then with a thud, closed the door behind him. Qian Jinfeng didn't give up and continued to ramble outside the door. Inside, Li Wei directly tore off 2 small pieces of paper and stuffed them into his ears. After Yang got home, she began preparing to make a new beverage. She had already thought about it during the day. Given that sour plum soup, a cold drink, wasn't suitable for winter, she could create a hot drink. A steaming cup of hot milk tea in winter not only warms the body, but the stomach as well. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Let's do it then. Yang brought out the cassava flour she had bought, mixed it with brown sugar and water to make into small balls, boiled them until they were cooked, and voila, she had black tapioca pearls. Once the pearls were ready, Yang opened a tin of tea leaves, scooped out a small handful and placed them in a pot, added water, and boiled it until the tea was the right color, followed by adding milk and simmering it on low heat. At this point, the aroma of the milk and tea fusion began to permeate the air. The scent was rich and intoxicating. Yang took 3 cups, placed a small spoonful of the pearls inside each, followed by the freshly brewed milk tea. After all of this, Yang brought the milk tea to the living room. When Yang came over, Chengui knew that what Yang was carrying was probably something new and exciting. Yang, Chengui asked with a smile, did you come up with another new drink? Yang nodded, placing the brewed milk tea on the table. This is the milk tea I just brewed, try it. Milk tea? Chengui perked up at this. I had this when I was on a business trip in Inner Mongolia. Yang said with a smile, then try it and see if mine is as good as the one you had in Inner Mongolia. How to stand by and watch. Bubble tea understood. Chengui stirred with his spoon, surprised when he saw the black granules inside. Yang, what's this black thing? He hadn't seen anything like this when he was drinking this in Inner Mongolia. Yang explained, it's tapioca pearls, made from cassava flour. Can it be eaten? Chengui asked. Yes, it can, Yang nodded. Chengui took a sip from his spoon and was met with a rich milky fragrance, followed by a fresh tea aroma and a subtle fruity scent, all lingering in the mouth for a long time. The tapioca pearls were chewy, with a really nice texture, similar to that of fruit candy but much tastier. It was far tastier than the milk tea he had back in Inner Mongolia. And Chenggui's face was full of surprise. Seeing Chenggui's reaction, Cuehua knew the milk tea must taste good, so she immediately picked up her cup and took a sip. Indeed, the taste did not disappoint her. Since the milk tea received such high praise, Yang made 2 more pounds of tapioca pearls that evening to serve at the noodle restaurant the following day. After prepping for the next day, Yang went on to make some facial cleanser and aloe vera gel. With the blender, she didn't have to think much about making skincare products. Since villagers kept bringing her aloe vera, Yang was not worried about running out of stock. Yang was sorting out her skincare products when Chengui walked in. Yang, the freckle-removing cream you made last time is really good. I want to have 2 more sets. By the way, my colleague's sister is having acne problems. Can you make any acne-removing cream? He asked. Acne? Yang slightly raised her eyebrows. It depends on the type of acne. Is it caused by heatiness? Is it serious? Actually, aloe vera gel could suffice for mild acne, but if it's severe, the gel could only serve as an auxiliary inflammation reducer. Chengui continued, it's not that severe, but it isn't mild either. She has about 8 or 9 pimples, and it doesn't seem to be caused by heatiness. My colleague said his sister doesn't eat spicy food. Yang nodded. All right, please tell her if she can wait a day, I'll make it for her. The acne cream will be the same price as the freckle cream. Chengui took the cream from Yang with one hand and handed over the money with the other. Fine, it's a deal. The market for acne products is actually pretty large. It's arguably better than that for freckle removal. So, once Chengui left, Yang started researching acne products. For products applied to the face, safety comes first, and only pure, unpolluted ingredients should be used. Why couldn't domestically produced skincare products keep their foothold in the market? Because of their unethical practices. They made inferior products and charged a fortune. Customers aren't fools. All of a sudden, an idea popped into Yang's mind. She took a flashlight and went to the vegetable garden. When she came back, she had a handful of portulaca. Portulaca is a kind of wild grass, edible and medicinal. According to traditional Chinese medicine, portulaca can be used for clearing heat, promoting urination, detoxification, reducing inflammation, quenching thirst, and diuresis. In fact, portulaca has a significant effect that is often overlooked: acne removal. After Yang cleaned and blended the portulaca, she added some honey and a secret formula, turning it into a paste. This was how she made the acne removal cream. Of course, Yang wouldn't hastily sell the products she made. After washing her face, she applied a bit of cream on the skin behind her ears. Only after confirming there was no issue would she proceed to sell it. The first thing she did the next morning was to check the acne cream she applied the night before. Very good. The skin in the mirror was fair and showed no abnormalities. Yang hummed a tune in satisfaction, packed a box of skincare products to the back seat of the bike, and then nonchalantly went to wash up. Shortly after, noises could be heard from the kitchen. She finished all these just after 3 in the morning. By the time Cuehua and Chengui got up, Yang had already ridden off on her bike. As it was the first day of selling milk tea, Yang followed her usual routine by giving away a cup of milk tea to every noodle customer. The milk tea came in both hot and normal temperature versions. Everyone was drinking milk tea for the first time, so as expected, Yang received countless positive reviews. How to stay uninvolved. Bubble tea _6. Because the cost of milk tea is much higher than sour plum soup, Yang plans to sell it for 3 cents a cup. Although the price is a little higher than sour plum soup, compared to drinks like Jianlibo and Dabaili soda, it's a lot cheaper, so diners can accept it. Little boss, your milk tea is good. I'd like to take a cup back for my son to try. Could you give me an extra one? Yang smiled and said, if you order another bowl of noodles, I can give you an extra cup. With so many customers in the shop, she couldn't break her rules. If she gave everyone an extra cup, she wouldn't need to do business anymore. What if I buy it alone? Yang explained, If you buy it alone, it's 3 cents a cup. The promotion of getting milk tea with noodles is only for today. There won't be any tomorrow morning. Alright, then cook another bowl of noodles for me. Only a fool would buy just 1 cup. People of this era have small appetites because they lack nutritious food, so they eat a lot. She could even eat 2 more bowls, let alone 1 more. After finishing her morning work, Yang took her skincare products to Wang Meifeng's unit during lunch break. At Wang, here are the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel you wanted. Oh, and these samples are for acne treatment and freckle removal. You can give them to people with acne and freckles. If they like it, they can buy it from me. Wang Meifeng took the box. Alright, Yang, I got it. Thanks to Yang's skincare products, Wang Meifeng is now extremely popular at the company. Everywhere she goes, people take the initiative to greet her, and even many people she doesn't know come to find her. Even a number of leaders have bought skincare products from her. This isn't because she's selling Yang's skincare products, but because Yang indirectly helped her expand her network. As the saying goes, the more people, the better things will go. Who doesn't have a little trouble at home? Not only did Yang cure Yang Guobao for her, but she also did her such a big favor. Yang is simply her benefactor in life. After returning to her office, Wang Meifeng was immediately surrounded by a group of colleagues. Meifeng, how about it? Does the ice skin jade flesh from Divine Doctor have any stock now? Yes. Wang Meifeng laughed and distributed the skincare products to everyone, then gave the samples for acne and freckle removal to colleagues with acne and freckles. Lu Fen watched with her eyes turning red. She also wanted to buy a set of ice skin jade flesh from Wang Meifeng, but she didn't have the face to ask, especially since she had previously mocked Wang Meifeng, calling it skincare products for ugly faces. She regretted it. She shouldn't have done that back then. Lu Fen wished she could slap herself a few times. After a long struggle, Lu Fen finally saw Wang Meifeng at the bathroom door. She mustered up the courage to approach her and initiated the conversation. Meifeng, are you going to the bathroom? Upon hearing this, Wang Meifeng got goosebumps all over her body. What's up? Why are you acting so strange? Besides going to the bathroom, what else could I do in the bathroom? Lu Fen laughed and said, Meifeng, I'm sorry for what happened before. It was all because of my narrow mind. Please don't take it seriously. I'm the kind of person who has a bad mouth, but a good heart, Wang Meifeng said. With your good heart, you could curse your relatives with ugly faces and unable to marry. Lu Fen gave a dry laugh. Meifeng, you know all about it. I'm sorry, at that time, I was led astray. I didn't mean it. Actually, Lu Fen's apology seemed quite sincere. Wang Meifeng didn't beat around the bush and said bluntly, just say what you want. Lu Fen stuttered, I want to buy a set of ice skin jade flesh. Wang Meifeng couldn't help but laugh. Lu Fen, are you not afraid of having an ugly face anymore? Lu Fen immediately said, Meifeng, I really realized my mistake. I swear, I won't do that again in the future. Could you sell me a set? From a personal perspective, Wang Meifeng didn't want to sell the skincare products to Lu Fen, given the grudges between them. But make friends, not enemies. Yang is doing business, and offending people isn't good. If she doesn't sell to Lu Fen this time, what if Lu Fen spreads rumors and makes trouble next time? Business people are most afraid of trouble coming their way. She couldn't let her personal matters affect Yang's business. Moreover, Lu Fen could have asked someone else to buy it for her, but she didn't, which shows that Lu Fen has truly repented. In this case, there was no need for her to hold onto Lu Fen's faults, bearing in mind that Lu Fen had never apologized to anyone besides the leaders before. How to stand by and watch. Bubble tea under Sk7 no matter what, she had won this battle. Wang Meifeng continued, I can sell the item to you, but you must promise not to stir up any more rumors from now on. Okay. Lu Fen quickly nodded in agreement. I swear. Upon returning to the office, Wang Meifeng gave Lu Fen the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel. By the way, I noticed a few freckles on your face. Would you like to try this freckle removing cream? Yes. Thank you, Meifeng. Lu Fen was moved to tears. Seeing Lu Fen like this, everyone in the office thought they were hallucinating. My goodness, what had turned the sharp-tongued and mean Lu Fen into this? But this was a good thing. After all, everyone worked together in the same office. If they were always at odds, it would affect their work to some degree. Sun Mei walked over and discreetly gave Wang Meifeng a thumbs up. Meifeng, you're amazing. Even the old hag Lu Fen is totally subdued by you. Wang Meifeng laughed and said, it's all because of the great ice skin and jade flesh effect from the divine doctor. On her way home after work, Wang Meifeng bumped into an acquaintance. The acquaintance was none other than Lin Pingping. Pingping, are you coming from your aunt's house? Wang Meifeng initiated the conversation. Lin Pingping nodded. Yeah, I stayed at my aunt's house last night. Oh. Wang Meifeng nodded. Since you're free, why don't you come over to my place? You can have dinner at my house and we can have a good chat. Lin Pingping laughed and said, I'll visit another time, I have some chores to do at home. After a brief exchange of pleasantries, they both turned to leave. Wang Meifeng had just turned around when it seemed as if she suddenly remembered something. Pingping, wait. What's up? Wang Meifeng slipped 2 small boxes into Lin Pingping's hand. This is acne removing cream. It's developed by the divine doctor and it's really effective. Try it when you get home. To instill more confidence, Wang Meifeng added, this is from that same divine doctor who cured Xiao Dai. Lin Pingping looked puzzled. Can a doctor make skincare products? It's called medicinal beauty. Wang Meifeng continued, it's really good. You must try it. Lin Pingping casually tossed the acne cream into her purse. All right then. I'll take off first. See you. Wang Meifeng waved goodbye to Lin Pingping. Lin Pingping, as someone who has been through it all, knew that Wang Meifeng's smile was genuine. She also knew that Wang Meifeng was leading a happy life. Unlike her. Lin Pingping sighed softly and then headed home. When she reached her apartment, Lin Pingping saw her tidy in-laws followed by her husband, Hong Bin. Dad, Mom, Hong Bin, where are you guys heading? Her father-in-law and mother-in-law looked away in disgust, as if they might contaminate their eyes if they looked at Lin Pingping for too long. Hong Bin also avoided looking directly at his wife's face. When he spoke, his eyes seemed to wander. My cousin is having a full moon banquet for her baby. My parents and I are going to join the celebration. The full moon banquet is a major event. Lin Pingping immediately said, let me get ready and go with you. You're going? Her mother-in-law, Xianxia, sneered. Are you planning to scare everyone with your ugliness? Isn't it enough how much we've already been made fun of? You're embarrassing us. My poor Binbin is entirely out of luck to have married you. These words were truly hurtful. But hearing them over and over again, Lin Pingping had grown accustomed to it. She had become numb. Even her husband, who had once made sincere vows of love to her, was silent and didn't come to Lin Pingping's defense at all. He was indifferent, like a stranger. Before Lin Pingping could say anything, Xianxia extended her hand towards her. You went to the Mo family yesterday. Did they give you any money again? Hand it over. Everything in this house, from the social interactions to the cooking oil and salt, requires money. Don't think about stashing it away. Lin Pingping's voice was very calm. I didn't take any money from my aunt. What? You didn't? Upon hearing this, Xianxia flew into a rage. You worthless wench. Do you think our home is a bank? They give us money and you refuse to take it. Don't you understand? Everything you eat and drink belongs to my son. You're a cheap good-for-nothing who married into our family out of desperation. Xianxia was a classic evil mother-in-law. Having been ill-treated by her own mother-in-law, when she had finally become a mother-in-law herself, she, of course, wanted to assert her power. Moreover, Lin Pingping had married into the family of her own volition. Xianxia's sneering immediately attracted the attention of other people in the same building. She had to begrudgingly close her mouth. It was only then that Hong Bin raised his head to look at Lin Pingping and sighed helplessly, Don't blame my mom for her harsh words. She has a point. Since the Mo family has money, why should it be an issue if they share some with us? Look at your cousin Baichuan from the Mo family. A watch on his wrist is as expensive as a house. And Mo Qishan, that spendthrift, he's already 27 and doesn't have a proper job. completely dependent on his family. What does that tell you? That the Mo family certainly isn't short of money. Let it go this time, learn to be smarter next time. Whatever they offer, accept it, don't act modestly, Hong Bin said a lot in one breath. As Lin Pingping recalled Wang Maifeng's smiling face, she felt both frustrated and angry, her heart ached. She didn't wait for Hong Bin to finish and turned around to walk away. This ugly woman. She dared to show us attitude. Does she even respect me as her mother-in-law? Divorce. I want a divorce tomorrow. Let's see who would want this ugly woman. Xianxia jumped up angrily. Hong Bin said, "Let it go, Mom. Don't stoop to her level. Let's head over to my aunt's place first and deal with her later." After Lin Pingping came back, she opened the door to her room and lay on the bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. She had become ugly now, but when she married Hong Bin, she was one of the most beautiful women. When exactly did her life take such a downturn? After a while, Lin Pingping mindlessly tossed her purse on her vanity, creating a clattering sound as something fell out of it. She turned her head to see. It turned out to be the acne cream Wang Meifeng gave her. Who's to blame if one's own son is not promising? Break the siege eye acne cream? Lin Pingping's ears suddenly echoed with Wang Maifeng's words. Wang Meifeng had said that this acne cream was very effective and was made by the divine doctor. But over the years, she had already used too many acne products that claimed to be effective, including cosmetics medications developed by foreign professors. Yet, her face seemed to have developed immunity to these products. No matter what was applied, it couldn't prevent acne from growing. Would this tiny box of acne cream really work? Lin Pingping sat up from the bed and picked up the light green box. Lifting the lid, her eyes met a light brown, cream-like substance. It had a subtle fragrance, carrying with it hints of green grass and a faint smell of medicine. Lin Pingping was a Western medicine practitioner. She knew that these were common ingredients, perhaps useful for ordinary acne, but they had no effect on her. Lin Pingping sighed quietly and absent-mindedly set the acne cream on the dresser. Seeing her face reflected in the mirror of the dressing table, her eyes suddenly reddened. Lin Pingping wanted to cry her heart out, but she couldn't. Just then, the sound of the door opening came from outside. "Mom, I'm back. Make me a meal. I'm starving. Where are you?" It was the voice of her younger sister-in-law, Hong Meiyue. She was lazy and ambitious, a giant baby at 23. Yet, she was the apple of Xianxia's and Hong Dabing's eyes. Lin Pingping took a deep breath, opened the door and walked out. "Yaya is back." Hong Meiyue saw her come out and commanded like ordering a servant, "Oh, you're home? Why didn't you say anything? Are you acting like a dead person? Hurry and cook for me, I'm hungry." Lin Pingping squeezed a thin smile from the corner of her mouth. "Okay, just wait a moment." Hong Meiyue continued, "Never mind, don't cook." "What's the matter, yeah?" Lin Pingping looked at Hong Meiyue, puzzled. Hong Meiyue spoke in disgust. "Look at your disgusting face. What if it infects me? I'll eat out instead, give me money." Lin Pingping looked at Hong Meiyue. "I don't have any money. I gave all of last month's salary to Mom." In the Hong family, every penny of her monthly salary was handed over to Xianxia. "No money." Hong Meiyue squinted. "Didn't you receive a bonus last month? Where's that bonus? Did you hide it behind my mom's back to keep as private money?" Lin Pingping did indeed receive a bonus last month. That bonus had been spent on a Picasso pen for Mo Hudi. An imported Picasso pen cost 200 yuan, amounting to several months of Lin Pingping's salary. No bonus was given. Of course, Lin Pingping wouldn't be foolish enough to tell Hong Meiyue about buying the pen. "Oh," said Hong Meiyue, "I see. You probably secretly went to the beauty salon to treat your face again, didn't you? I told you before, your face will never get better. Going to the beauty salon is just wasting money. You just wait until my mom and brother come back, they'll tell them what you did." As she said the last sentence, a gloating expression appeared on Hong Meiyue's face. "Whatever you want." Lin Pingping spoke indifferently. Stunned, Hong Meiyue punched the cotton, angered and speechless. She had thought that Lin Pingping would have been frightened by her words and bribed her with money. Ugly wretch. Despicable woman. Hong Meiyue spoke viciously. Lin Pingping didn't say anything more and simply turned around and walked out. Where are you going? Hong Meiyue asked furiously. Lin Pingping didn't respond to her. Hong Meiyue was seething with anger. Ugly freak. Just you wait, sooner or later I'll make my brother divorce you. Upon hearing the word divorce, Lin Pingping's steps stuttered for a moment. Divorce? But she couldn't get a divorce. If she was divorced, she would have nothing left. No matter what, she wouldn't get divorced. Lin Pingping clenched her fist. The weather outside was beautiful. The sun was shining brightly, the sky was cloudless, and even the wind was warm. Lin Pingping didn't have a specific destination and wandered aimlessly. Until she saw a noodle restaurant with a closed sign on it did she finally stopped. To be precise, she was attracted by the girl inside the shop who was wiping tables. The girl was truly beautiful. As Lin Pingping looked at her, it was as if she saw herself from over a decade ago. At that time, she was just like her, brilliant, beautiful, young. Dumbfounded, Lin Pingping watched, her eyes filled with longing and envy. Who's to blame if one's own son is not promising? Break the siege _2. It is wonderful to be young. After a moment, Lin Pingping took her eyes away, walking forward absent-mindedly. She didn't even realize she had bumped into someone. Aunt, are you all right? Only then did Lin Pingping react. I'm fine. The young man who was bumped didn't say much. He carried a book in his hand and kept walking forward. He stopped in front of the sour fish noodle restaurant. A middle-aged lady came out with a smile. I'm sorry, young man, we're closed now. We will be open at 2:30 in the afternoon. The young man responded, Aunt, I am here to find Anai Yang. Is she here? The middle-aged woman nodded. Oh, you're looking for Yang Yang. Hang on, I'll call her for you. As Zhou Qingshang spoke, she walked towards the kitchen. In a moment, Anai Yang came out. Upon seeing the young man, she paused before saying, Li Wei? Indeed, it was Li Wei. Having seen Anai Yang on the street last night, Li Wei had made some inquiries and found that Anai Yang had opened a noodle restaurant here. At first, Li Wei couldn't believe that Anai Yang would open a noodle restaurant, and only standing inside the restaurant did he realize that Anai Yang had indeed opened one. First a stall, and now a restaurant. Anai Yang was beyond his imagination. Anai Yang, it's been a long time since we last met. I thought you left Beijing. I didn't expect you to open a noodle restaurant. Congratulations. Anai Yang smiled. Thank you. Li Wei continued, I am puzzled by a math problem. Could you help me with it? Anai Yang nodded. Sure. Li Wei genuinely needed Anai Yang's assistance in a math problem. It was a very difficult problem, one which not even the class monitor could solve. In this era, Chinese students had not yet had any exposure to Olympiad problems and were unfamiliar with the international standard. Li Wei was only dealing with Olympiad problems because the teacher in their class had studied abroad. Anai Yang took the test paper and began to ponder before she started solving. She was far removed from her previous life as a student. Facing this Olympiad problem, she was slightly dazed initially. She had to reorganize some knowledge points. Seeing her like this, Li Wei felt a little better. He had thought Anai Yang was capable of everything. As it turned out, there were problems Anai Yang could not solve either. That's right. The Olympiad problems were foreign. How could Anai Yang solve them? However, in the next moment, Anai Yang stunned Li Wei. She started to write down the process of solving the problem, stroke by stroke. Not only did she have the correct answer, but her solution was even clearer than the teacher's. You take a look, Anai Yang returned the paper to Li Wei. In mathematics, all logical thinking is the same. The formula I have just written can be applied universally. Even if you go to university and study advanced mathematics later, the logic will remain the same. Li Wei nodded, a look of surprise in his eyes. He didn't even know what to say. After a while, he came back to his senses. Anai Yang, thank you very much. You're welcome, Anai Yang smiled gently. Li Wei glanced around the noodle restaurant. Then he continued, Anai Yang, the rent for such a large noodle shop must be expensive, isn't it? His family paid more than 150 yuan a month for a small shop. This shop of Anai Yang's must be even larger, thus could be assumed to be pricier. Anai Yang laughed. Not very expensive, I bought this restaurant. She bought it? Anai Yang actually bought the restaurant. Li Wei swallowed back the words. If you need help, you can ask me. Anai Yang had bought her own restaurant, while his family was still renting a shop. What could he possibly help Anai Yang with? The last shred of superiority in Li Wei's heart vanished. He even forgot how he had left Anai Yang's restaurant. He walked home, still a little absent-minded. He didn't know what happened to him. When he first met Anai Yang, she was just a simple village girl with nothing. In just a few short months, Anai Yang had become a person who was superior to him in every way. Luckily, Anai Yang had dropped out of school by now. Otherwise, if he stood by Anai Yang, he would hardly even feel his existence. Who's to blame if one's own son is not promising? Break the siege _3. Once she became a university student, her experiences increased and her social circle expanded. Anai Yang would definitely not be as good as herself. Xiaowei, did you just go to see Anai Yang? Qian Jinfeng came over from the side. Yes. Li Wei didn't hide it and simply nodded his head. Qian Jinfeng continued, did you find out where Anai Yang is renting a stall now? She didn't rent a stall. Didn't rent a stall? As Qian Jinfeng was puzzled, she heard Li Wei continue, Anai Yang has now bought her own shop. The noodle restaurant that just opened a few days ago and became very popular, that's Anai Yang's doing. What? Qian Jinfeng felt a sour pang in her heart when she heard this. Bought a shop? A shop costs 20 or 30,000 yuan. With renovation and all, it costs nearly 40,000 yuan. Anai Yang can actually afford to buy a shop. Their family had always wanted to buy a shop, but the business in the past few years was barely making ends meet. It was only in the past 2 years that things had started to improve, but they still lacked the money to buy even half a shop. Qian Jinfeng looked at Li Wei, saying, Xiaowei, I forbid you to see her anymore. So what if she bought a shop? She still isn't good enough for you. You're taking your college entrance exam next June. You can't be distracted now. Once you get into a good university, won't you have your pick of female classmates? As she spoke, Qian Jinfeng began to walk away. Li Wei asked, Mom, where are you going? I'm going out for a stroll, Qian Jinfeng said. You don't worry about me. Stay home and study hard so that you can get into a good university and give me something to be proud of. Li Wei returned to his room with a strange feeling in his heart. He studied so hard, yet his academic performance was inferior to that of a business owner. Isn't that a joke? Qian Jinfeng went straight to Anai Yang's noodle restaurant. The well-decorated restaurant was large. The more Qian Jinfeng looked at it, the more uncomfortable she felt. Why did such a nice shop belong to Anai Yang? As it happened, Anai Yang was taking out the trash when Qian Jinfeng arrived at the restaurant. Anai Yang, I have something to say to you. Qian Jinfeng approached Anai Yang. Qian Jinfeng pondered for a long time. Why did Anai Yang open the restaurant here? She was obviously targeting her son, Li Wei. She couldn't let Anai Yang succeed. Anai Yang greeted her with a smile. Aunt Qian, please say what you have to say. Qian Jinfeng glanced around. Let's find a quiet place to talk. Anai Yang said, I'm about to open for business. Aunt Qian, just say it here. Qian Jinfeng nodded, then said, Okay, since you're not afraid of making a fool of yourself, I'll say it straight. My Xiaowei is going to college in the future. You are just a petty business owner, not to brag, but you are really not worthy of Xiaowei. So, Aunt is asking you to bother Xiaowei less in the future. As Qian Jinfeng said these words, she held her head high, adopting an air of unattainable arrogance. Her son was a golden phoenix. Anai Yang was not even worth mentioning as a sparrow. Hearing this, Anai Yang remained calm and smiled. Actually, I think you should tell Li Wei what you just said. Why don't you ask him, who is it that always provokes me first? I'm under a lot of pressure too. Don't just let your son run wild and blame others, okay? Qian Jinfeng was stunned. She didn't expect Anai Yang to have this attitude at all. She thought that after she said these words, Anai Yang would be very eager to please her. After all, in Anai Yang's eyes, She could be her future mother-in-law. Isn't it usual for a daughter-in-law to please her mother-in-law? But An Yang? Not only did she not show any eagerness to please, but she also retorted with derision. Did she just call her a dog? Before Qian Jinfeng could say anything, An Yang continued, as the saying goes, if the child is not taught, it's the parent's fault. If your son is not ambitious, how can you blame me? Now that Li Wei is not here, could you please tell him to stop looking for me, or else, I will have to report him for harassment. An Yang is a person of clear love and hatred, and she wouldn't take anyone's anger for no reason. Since Qian Jinfeng deliberately wanted to give her trouble, she certainly would not let Qian Jinfeng off easily. Qian Jinfeng was far from being able to bully her. Qian Jinfeng was trembling with anger. Yet, she had no rebuttal. If her son is not ambitious, who's to blame? If she continued to entangle with An Yang, she would just be embarrassing herself. Qian Jinfeng is a businesswoman and cares about her face. She knew that she couldn't make a scene at this time. Who's to blame if one's own son is not promising? Break the siege _4. Qian Jinfeng went back home stewing in her anger. When she returned, she washed an apple and handed it to Li Wei. Mom just went to see An Yang. Li Wei was surprised. What did you go to see her for? I told her to stop bothering you. But An Yang just scolded me, even saying that you're the one who always seek her out. Shawit, can we have some dignity? Listen to Mom, don't go looking for her anymore, okay? Qian Jinfeng embellished the story of what had just happened and told Li Wei. Li Wei remained silent. Qian Jinfeng continued, your job right now is to study hard, so that you can get into a good university next year. That An Yang will surely come begging to you. At that time, when she does, we can kick her far, far away. That'll be revenge for Mom. After a long silence, Li Wei finally spoke. Mom, did An Yang really say that? Qian Jinfeng responded grumpily, I'm your mom. Would I lie to you? Li Wei then said, okay Mom, I understand, I will definitely get into a good university, for your sake. Hearing this, Qian Jinfeng responded with satisfaction, good, good, you are my good son. Lin Pingping was aimlessly wandering the streets when she saw a familiar figure. Is it Hong Bin? Who is that pregnant woman standing behind Hong Bin? After being married into the Hong family for over 10 years, Pingping understood the family well enough to know that the woman wasn't a relative. Moreover, Hong Bin was being particularly affectionate with her, which was not the typical behavior between friends or relatives. Her usually strict parents-in-law were full of smiles, talking happily with the woman. The family of 4 seemed very cheerful. No wonder they've stopped calling her a chicken that can't lay eggs. Turns out they found a chicken that can lay eggs. Disbelieving, Lin Pingping took a few steps back and couldn't help but crouch down and sob quietly. With the way things had turned out, she couldn't blame anyone else. All she could blame was herself for not being able to give the Hong family a grandson after all these years. Not only had she failed to provide them with a grandson, she wasn't even able to save face in the end. Her life was a total failure. After a long time, Lin Pingping numbly got up, her legs felt like jelly, and she tottered back home in a daze. When she got home and looked at her disfigured face in the mirror, no trace of her former vitality and spirit could be found. What had she been holding on to all these years? Lin Pingping gave a scornful smile at her reflection in the mirror. Just then, the door was pushed open, and Hong Bin strode in angrily. Lin Pingping, I heard from Yeye that you spent all your bonus last month on your face. Is that true? Yes, Lin Pingping nodded. Hearing this, Hong Bin exploded in fury. You know the situation at home. You're spending money recklessly. Do you really think your face can be fixed? I'm telling you, your face is beyond repair. Lin Pingping picked up her bag, put the anti-acne cream from her dressing table into it, and walked out. Stop. Where are you going? Lin Pingping turned around, her face was so calm it was almost lifeless. I'm going to my aunt's house. To borrow money. Hearing the last 4 words, Hong Bin immediately put on a gentle facade. Then you should go quickly. It's getting late, do you want me to accompany you? No need, I can go by myself. Lin Pingping's voice was soft. Hongbin didn't insist. Anyway, the Mo family were all snobs looking down on others. Apart from their money, they were good for nothing. It was better not to go. When Lin Pingping passed by the living room, her in-laws naturally didn't give her a friendly look. After a long day's work, Ni Yang rode her bicycle home. Just as she was nearing her house, Ni Yang heard a plop. It sounded like something heavy had fallen into the water. From Ni Yang's years of experience, it was clear that someone had fallen into the water. Ni Yang quickly jumped off her bike and ran to the riverbank. In the faint moonlight, sure enough, she saw someone struggling in the water. Without any hesitation, Ni Yang dove into the water, grabbed that person around the waist, and started swimming towards the shore with all her might. Luckily, Ni Yang was a good swimmer, and in no time, she had reached the shore. Who's to blame if one's own son is not promising? Break the siege under Skavive. Ni Yang quickly performed first aid on the man she had brought ashore. Though he was timely saved from the brink of death, he was unconscious. Ni Yang parked the car by the roadside, hoisted the man onto her back, and started heading home. Upon seeing her return with a carried load, Ni Hua exclaimed with surprise, "Yang, what happened?" Ni Yang briefly explained the situation. Ni Hua, a sympathetic person herself, immediately said, "Take him to the room quick, then go shower with warm water, I will go bring the car back." Just then, Xianxia walked in from outside, and after hearing the situation volunteered, "Sister Yang, I'll go bring the car back. You stay home and assist Yang." "Thank you, Sister Chingue." Ni Yang hadn't felt cold while rescuing the person earlier, but now upon making it at home, the bone-chilling cold was seeping in. Ni Yang took a hot bath, and Ni Hua warmed up a bucket of water to wash the unconscious woman on the bed. She then fetched a set of her clothes for the woman to change into. The woman wasn't very attractive. Her hands were fair, but her face was dotted relentlessly with pimples, which made her hard to look at. Oh, she must be truly pitiful to attempt a suicide. Ni Hua sighed continuously. After her bath, Ni Yang checked on the woman, and confirming she was in a stable state, she went to cook. To be prepared in case the woman woke up during the night, she made an extra bowl of red date and ginger porridge to drive away the cold. Sure enough, the woman stirred from her unconscious state as the three wrapped up their dinner. Ni Hua asked with concern, "Sister, what made you so distressed that you attempted suicide? Life gives you only one chance, once lost, there's no second chance." Xianxia added, "Hanging on to life is always better than dying. Share your troubles with us. We might not be capable of much, but as the saying goes, 3 cobblers are better than a zhuge liang. Maybe we could be of some help." The woman hung her head, her face filled with sorrow, and didn't know how to begin. Much later, she finally croaked out in a low voice, "Thank you for saving me, but I really don't want to live anymore." Her husband's betrayal. Her ruined appearance. This life already seemed pointless. By the end of her talk, she was drowned in tears, her throat choked as she recounted her story. "My name is Lin Pingping, I am 30 years old, a local of Beijing." Lin Pingping poured her heart out, leaving no detail of her grievances unsaid. In the past, out of fear of humiliation, she had never shared these with anyone. Now she didn't care about any of that. She just wanted someone to confide in. Listening to her, Ni Hua's eyes got teary. She seemed to see her own reflection in Lin Pingping. Xianxia was also wiping her tears sympathetically and cursing the Hong family. Ni Yang slightly furrowed her brows unnoticed. Be it the present Lin Pingping or the past Ni Hua, they all were victims of the times. Ni Yang crouched down to Lin Pingping's eye level. Her clear eyes were devoid of any disdain or revulsion. Her lush lips parted slowly and she began to speak. "Aunt Lin, you shouldn't have tried to kill yourself. You should live on, go to the court for a divorce and claim what's rightfully yours. His infidelity and his affair resulting in a pregnancy, that's nothing but shameless sleaziness. He not only deserves jail time but also to compensate for the waste of your 10 years. Trying to commit suicide at this point in time is like abdicating to that other woman. It's an extremely irrational move." Lin Pingping raised her head and upon seeing Ni Yang's face, she was taken aback momentarily. Wasn't this young girl the one she had seen in the noodle restaurant in the morning? After a while, she echoed, divorce? In this era, divorced women were shamed. Furthermore, Lin Pingping's old-fashioned upbringing made it challenging for her to envision living as a divorced woman, carrying the scorn associated with it. Yes, Ai Yang affirmed, divorce. But, Ai Yang carried on saying, Aunt Lin, times have changed. Divorced women are everywhere, and divorce is not shameful. Everyone has their moments of blindness. Hearing this, Ai Zuihua agreed fervently, Sister, Yang is right. Divorce isn't a disgrace. Look at me, I'm living quite well now, right? My past was even worse than yours. Who's to blame if one's own son is not promising? Break the siege _6. Ai Zuihua was sharing her own story with Lin Pingping. Lin Pingping listened, her face gradually showing an incredibly shocked expression. She thought she was unlucky enough, but she hadn't expected that there were people in this world who were even unluckier than her. If she hadn't heard it with her own ears, she wouldn't have believed that there were people in this world who would abandon their own children. Sister, Ai Zuihua said with a sigh, take my advice, get a divorce. You still have a long life ahead of you, why ruin it over a man like this? Lin Pingping was a smart person who got the point quickly. The reason she was confused all these years was because she never showed her scars to others. Everyone thought she was happy, so naturally, no one talked to her about these things. Okay, sis, I got it, thank you all. Ai Zuihua said happily, I'm glad you understand. Ai Yang brought a bowl of porridge in from outside. Auntie Lin, have some red dates and ginger porridge to warm up first. Thank you. Lin Pingping took the bowl of porridge with both hands and slowly drank it. That night, Lin Pingping and Ai Zuihua talked until late. She gained a lot of insights from Ai Zuihua's words and felt more and more that she was so foolish in the past. The next morning, Lin Pingping asked to say goodbye. Ai Zuihua handed her a bottle filled with a brown liquid. Ping, this is an acne cream made by Yang. She said it can cure the acne on your face. Lin Pingping refused. Sister Hua, you, Yang, and Sister Chang'e are all good people. You saved my life. How can I take your stuff now? Just take it, Ai Zuihua smiled. Stand up for us women and live a good life. Lin Pingping took the bottle, nodded resolutely and said, Thank you, Sister Hua. After returning to the urban area, Lin Pingping didn't go back to the Hong family immediately. Instead, she found a classmate who was a lawyer and then visited a private detective agency. After doing all these, she went back to the Hong family as if nothing had happened. Just as she got home, Hong Bin immediately asked her for money. Lin Pingping smiled and said, My aunt said that she would give us a bank book in a few days, don't worry. Hong Bin exclaimed, Really? Lin Pingping nodded, Of course it's true. Hong Bin said, When you get the bank book, you should give it to my mom for safekeeping. Sure, Lin Pingping nodded, I'll listen to you. Because the price of milk tea was 3 times higher than sour plum soup, Ai Yang originally thought that milk tea wouldn't sell well that day. Unexpectedly, the milk tea was a huge hit. Some people lined up just to buy a cup of milk tea. Over 1,600 cups of milk tea were sold just in one morning. The sales revenue from the milk tea alone was more than 600 yuan for the day. Together with pickled vegetable noodles, the total revenue for the day was more than 1,300 yuan. This was the revenue when milk tea was sold out. If there was enough milk tea, the total could be even higher. Since milk tea was so popular, she had to plan ahead. Ai Yang thought for a while, and during lunch break the next day, she went to the trademark office to register a trademark for the milk tea, called New York milk tea. Ai Yang was a person of vision. She never left trouble for herself or loopholes for her competitors when she did things. She had a clear goal. To do big things. To earn big money. The second day after Lin Pingping returned, she finally had time to look at the acne cream Ai Yang gave her. She took off the cap and was stunned when she saw the acne cream. Wasn't this acne cream the same as the one that Wang Meifeng gave her? Lin Pingping took out the little box from her bag, and when she opened it, it smelled and looked the same as what Wang Meifeng gave her. Although she knew that this acne cream couldn't heal the acne on her face, she still applied it evenly on her face. Just try it. She couldn't let down Ni Yang's kindness. The Mo family. Madame Mo held Mo Kishin's hand and pleaded, "Old Six, the girl your cousin introduced to you this time is really good, according to the people I asked. Why don't you go see her?" Mo Kishin helplessly said, "Mom, I'll be honest with you, I already have someone in my heart. If I go, wouldn't it be irresponsible to the girl?" "Someone?" Madame Mo asked curiously, "Who? Who is this girl? Do I know her?" Who's to blame if one's own son is not promising? Break the siege _7 Mo Kishin said with a smile, "Don't worry about that. When the time is right, you'll come to know." Upon hearing this, Grandma Mo felt a pang in her heart. This foolish boy, could he still be pining for that Xiao Jingrong? Grandma Mo continued, "Even if you have someone, just go take a glance. Just one look, you won't lose anything. Besides, your cousin has already arranged a suitable girl for you. How can you stand her up now? How would that make her look?" At this moment, the abrupt sound of a telephone rang in the air. A servant answered it, then said, muffling the receiver, "Madam, it's a call from your niece." Grandma Mo said, "Tell Ping Ping that the 6th will be there soon." After saying this, Grandma Mo turned to look at Mo Kishin, pushing him out. "Hurry, hurry, pop over for a look and come back. Don't embarrass your cousin." Reluctantly, Mo Kishin had to go outside, mount his bicycle, and head towards the urban area. Lin Pingping had arranged for Mo Kishin to meet a marriage prospect named Huang Ro. Huang Ro, true to her name, was very beautiful and gentle. But upon seeing that Mo Kishin had arrived on a bicycle, her expression instantly darkened. Wasn't it said that Mo Kishin's family was quite wealthy? Why had he come on a shabby bicycle? Was he deliberately testing her? "Number 6, over here," Lin Pingping waved at Mo Kishin. As Pingping had only just started applying acne cream, there was no visible change to her face. "Cousin," Mo Kishin got off his bike. Lin Pingping laughed and said, "Number 6, this is Comrade Huang Ro. Little Ro, this is my cousin, Mo Kishin." Huang Ro nodded her head. Lin Pingping continued, "Number 6, why don't you take little Ro for a stroll? I have some work at my office, so I'll be heading back first." Having said that, Lin Pingping turned and left. "Mr. Mo, I heard from Sister Pingping that your family conditions are pretty good?" Huang Ro asked tentatively. Honestly, Mo Kishin was quite handsome, but Huang Ro was a pragmatic person. What did good looks account for? Could they be spent like money, or eaten like food? Mo Kishin chuckled. "Miss Huang, if there's a chance that we'll be spending the rest of our lives together, I don't wish to hide anything from you. My name is Mo Kishin, I dropped out of high school, I have 4 older brothers, my parents are both alive, and while my family's conditions are fairly good, that's all to my brother's credit. It has nothing to do with me. So after getting married, they'll have to move out. But don't worry, as long as we're diligent, I'm confident we can change our circumstances and live a good life." "Are you saying that you have nothing?" Huang Ro raised an eyebrow. "Yes." Mo Kishin nodded. This was completely different from what Lin Pingping had described. Huang Ro felt like she'd been seriously deceived. "You have nothing, yet you have the audacity to come and meet me for a setup date? What makes you think you, a penniless fool, deserve me?" Huang Ro screamed, "Have you even looked in the mirror? Do you see what kind of person you are? A toad wishing to eat swan meat. Have you no shame? People like you will never get married in this life. You make me sick." "Comrade, if you don't like him, fine. But there's no need for personal attacks, right? Just because you don't like him doesn't mean others won't." A gentle voice came from the air. Huang Ro looked up to see an extraordinarily beautiful face. She scoffed, "Who would like this kind of penniless wimp?" Ni Yang walked over, naturally taking Mo Kishin's hand. "I do. Brother Mo, ignore her, let's go." Huang Ro was speechless. "Are you blind? You're interested in this kind of person." Ni Yang paused, looking back at Huang Ro. "We simply have different values. You value money, I value people. So, you can't negate me and I can't negate you." "Crazy!" Huang Ro muttered. then quickly walked away from there. Once sure that Huang Ro was out of sight, Ni Yang let go of Mo Kishin's hand. "Brother Mo, I'm sorry." Ni Yang, who in her previous life had experienced so many grand scenes, now had a layer of sweat on her palms. Her heartbeat was a little haphazard. Although it was early winter, she felt unexplainably hot. Mo Kishin was no better. His ears were burning red, and his hand remained in a semi-grasping state. It was his first time holding a girl's hand. How could he not be nervous? Trying to remain calm, Mo Kishin said, "It's all right, thank you." Ni Yang chuckled. "No problem, you helped me before, remember? By the way, was that your girlfriend just now?" Mo Kishin said, "No, she was a blind date arranged by my family. I really didn't want to come, but my mom," Mo Kishin, normally such a smooth talker, suddenly didn't know how to explain what had just happened. Ni Yang nodded. "Ah, I see. Yang, how come you're here?" Mo Kishin changed the subject. Ni Yang said, "I happened to be out during lunch, wandering around, looking for a factory that could make disposable paper cups. I didn't expect to run into you here." If Ni Yang wanted to expand her bubble tea business, she would need to find a good manufacturer of disposable paper cups. The bubble tea she was currently selling was served in glass cups. If customers wanted to take it home, they had to use their own cups. It's really inconvenient. If she had disposable paper cups, it would be much more convenient. Disposable paper cups actually have been around since the early 20th century, but at a time when transportation was not advanced, they didn't make it to China. Disposable paper cups? Mo Kishin raised his eyebrows slightly. "Do you have a sample I can take a look at?" "Yes, I do." Ni Yang fetched a notebook from her bag and handed it to Mo Kishin. Mo Kishin took the notebook, and when he saw the designs on it, his eyes flashed with surprise. "Did you draw all of these?" Divorce, then buy a shop. _1 The design on the notebook was angular, exuding a strong sense of three-dimensionality. Some details were also sketched out very well, with text annotations aside that were clear and distinct. It even surpassed some of the professional designers. Who would believe that such a design was the work of a 17-year-old girl if they hadn't seen it with their own eyes? Moreover, these kinds of paper cups were only circulated abroad. They were almost non-existent domestically, making it hard to imagine how extensive the knowledge and experience of this person were. Mo Kishin had a look of astonishment. Ni Yang nodded. "I drew it, but am not sure if there's a manufacturer who can produce it." "How many do you need now?" Mo Kishin asked. Ni Yang replied, "I need about 2,000 a day, which amounts to about 60,000 a month, and the demand may increase." Although the quantity was large, it was actually not that much due to the weightlessness of disposable cups. The difficulty lies in finding the cup manufacturing factory. Ni Yang had already approached several factories, all of which stated they did not possess the required technology. Some people even misunderstood the concept of making cups using paper. Mo Kishin observed the design. "I have a classmate in this field. He even went abroad for an investigation tour. I'll ask him for you." "Really?" Ni Yang was somewhat surprised. Mo Kishin nodded. "Really?" Ni Yang smiled and said, "Thank you so much, brother." Mo Kishin responded, "You're welcome. We are friends, plus you just helped me." Friends. If he could add a girl in front of friend, that would be even better. "By the way, brother Mo, have you ever tasted milk tea?" Ni Yang asked. "No," Mo Kishin responded immediately. Ni Yang continued, "Then, come to my place. I'll make milk tea for you." "Sure." The pair arrived at the noodle restaurant. They hadn't started business for the day yet. Wang Jinfang and Zhou Qingshang were napping inside. They walked in quietly. Ni Yang whispered, "Brother Mo, you sit here for a while. I'll make the milk tea for you." They were very close to each other. Mo Kishin could even smell the faint fragrance from her, smelling like bamboo but not orchid. It was particularly pleasing. "Okay." Ni Yang turned and entered the kitchen, opened up the gas stove, and started making milk tea. Soon, the kitchen was filled with the aroma of tea. Seeing osmanthus flowers and glutinous rice flour on the side, Ni Yang also made a few osmanthus cakes. About half an hour later, She walked out of the kitchen. Ni Yang placed the milk tea and osmanthus cake in front of Emo Chishan. Brother Emo, have a taste. Emo Chishan first pinched a piece of faint yellow osmanthus cake. It was soft and glutinous. The cake melted in his mouth. The sweetness was just right, displaying a refreshing texture. It was incredibly delicious. Eating osmanthus cake while sipping the flavorful milk tea, the taste was simply too good. Emo Chishan couldn't resist having a second piece, then a third. Seeing him relish the cakes, Ni Yang couldn't resist having a piece herself. Yes, the taste was indeed surprisingly good. A slight curvaceous smile unfurled across Ni Yang's lips, her dimples visible. Who knows whose eyes were dazzled by her? The two chatted while sipping their milk tea. Afternoon came quickly. After Emo Chishan left, old Granny Emo couldn't wait any longer to ask him about his blind date. Emo Chishan said, "Not good, she didn't like me at all." "Didn't like you?" Old Granny Emo said incredulously, "How is that possible?" Even though Emo Chishan's reputation was quite bad among their peers, he was still considered outstanding among ordinary households. Moreover, he was handsome. How couldn't the girl like him? Emo Chishan smiled and said, "At first, when she saw me riding a bicycle, her face looked off." Old Granny Emo sighed, "You have a car at home but you insist on riding a bicycle. Now see what happened, you can't even find a wife. A wise man should marry a virtuous wife. It's better without such a superficial girl who chooses the rich and snubs the poor." Emo Chishan stood up to massage old Granny Mo's shoulders. "Mom, don't introduce me to these people anymore. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing, there's no need to rush." Old Granny Emo went on, "Old Six, you told me you have someone in mind this morning, is it true?" "It's true." Emo Chishan nodded, not trying to hide it. Divorce. Then by the shop. _2. The elderly Mrs. Emo pondered her words and asked tentatively, "Son, tell your mother truthfully, are you still hung up on Zhao Jingrong?" Emo Chishan laughed out loud. "Mother, what are you thinking about? How many times have I even met Zhao Jingrong? Don't worry, it's not her." Hearing this, the elderly Mrs. Emo finally let out a sigh of relief. As long as it's not her. Having said that, she asked again, "Do I know the girl?" Emo Chishan said, "I'll keep it a secret for now." "Is it Yang Yang?" The elderly Mrs. Emo turned her head to look at Emo Chishan. Upon thinking about it carefully, over this period, Emo Chishan did spend quite a lot of time with Ni Yang. And Yang Yang was a very likable young girl. It would be normal for Emo Chishan to take a liking to Ni Yang. Instead of directly answering the question, Emo Chishan said, "I'm going up to rest first, mother. You should go to bed early too." But the elderly Mrs. Emo was not a fool. She just laughed and cursed, "Naughty boy." Lin Pingping visited the detective agency again today. This time, she not only got the photos, but she also found the address of the other woman. In order to confirm that the address was correct, Lin Pingping spent half a day staking it out. In the evening, she finally saw a familiar figure walking briskly towards her. The woman was pregnant and walked over saying, "Aben. Guizhi." The two looked around cautiously before heading into the apartment. It was only after a long while that the two of them emerged from the apartment. Su Guizhi whispered in a low voice, "When are you going to divorce that ugly woman at home? Our child is about to be born, you can't just leave us out in the cold, can you?" Hongbin said, "I want a divorce, but she keeps disagreeing. As long as my heart is with you, does it really matter if we're divorced or not? Moreover, once our child is born, we will need money for everything. Her family is so rich, wouldn't it be the same as cutting off my own wealth if I divorce her now? She doesn't want to divorce? Well, let her earn money for us to raise our son." Hongbin's thoughts are more beautiful than anyone else's. One wife to make money and support the family, and another wife to continue the family lineage. Upon hearing this, Su Guizhi chuckled and said, "How do you know that it's definitely a boy?" "My mother said so. Judging by the shape of your belly, it must be a boy." The conversation between the two continued. Lin Pingping reached out and held onto a tree branch tightly, her grip so strong that her fingernails dug deep into the bark of the tree. 10 years. She had wasted 10 years of her youth on this ungrateful man. Disgusting. Lin Pingping struggled to control her rage. After a long while, she finally turned around and left. When she returned to the Hong family, it was already very late. Why are you only coming back now? Xianxia said unhappily, go and wash the dishes. Lin Pingping kept quiet and ignored her. Hong Bin frowned deeply. My mother is talking to you. Are you deaf? Lin Pingping looked up at him. Am I your family's maid? To her recollection, Lin Pingping had never acted this way before. She had always been one to endure. If Xianxia told her to go east, she would not dare to go west. If Xianxia told her to go west, she would not dare to go east. For a moment, both Xianxia and Hong Bin felt their dignity being challenged. What does Lin Pingping count as? What right does she have to throw tantrums in the Hong family's house? Hong Bin angrily said, Lin Pingping, what are you trying to do? I'm already being nice by not rejecting you with the way you are now. And you still dare to create problems. And show no respect to seniors. My mother has been tired all day. What's wrong with her asking you to wash the dishes? Lin Pingping smiled faintly. May I ask, was I like this on the day I married you? Hong Bin, ask yourself, what have you given me in these 10 years? Have you fulfilled your duties as a husband? Has anyone in your family ever treated me like a human being? Hong Bin's brow knitted and his face was filled with disgust. If it weren't for the money, he would find it disgusting to even take a second look at Lin Pingping. Complain? What does Lin Pingping have to complain about? It was Lin Pingping who pursued him in the first place, and it was Lin Pingping who insisted on marrying him. It's not like he can't find a wife. Xianxia jumped out and cursed, You ugly bitch, what do you mean by that? If you don't want to be in this relationship anymore, pack your things and leave the Hong family immediately. If it weren't for you insisting on marrying our Binbin back then, maybe he would have been successful by now. It's because of you, you jinx. You ungrateful bitch. Divorce, then by the shop. 3. Your Hong family? Lin Pingping turned her head to look at Xianxia, smiling. How dare you say that? Have you forgotten that this apartment was bought with the money my aunt gave me? How does it have anything to do with your Hong family? Xianxia was livid. How dare she? This unattractive woman now dared to speak to her this way. If she didn't show her power, Lin Pingping might actually think she was a pushover. You shameless, lowly woman. Are you planning on denying our ownership of this house? Divorce. I want a divorce right now. The Hong family doesn't need disgraceful people like you. Xianxia held her head high, waiting for Lin Pingping to kneel and beg her. Previously, any mention of divorce would scare Lin Pingping half to death. Would Lin Pingping agree to a divorce? Never. Don't worry, even if you don't mention it, I want a divorce too. I've had it with your family. What? Lin Pingping wanted a divorce? At her words, the atmosphere in the room quiets immediately. Even Hong Yuanyang, busy reading the newspaper, put it down. Lin Pingping, do you have any idea what you're saying? Hong Bin looked at her in disbelief. Lin Pingping loved him so much, how could she possibly want a divorce? Was she running a fever? Lin Pingping enunciated every word. I said I want a divorce. This is my house, a house that I bought. I want you and your family out of here now. Beyond shameless. Has Lin Pingping no shame? Xianxia was furious. She grabbed a broom and aimed it at Lin Pingping. This is my son's house, the Hong family's house. If anyone should leave, it's you, you slut. Get out now, get out. They had been living in this house for 10 years. How dare Lin Pingping try to take it from them? Impossible. Lin Pingping grabbed the broom and pushed hard. You old hag, you don't have the right to hit me. Xianxia was unprepared. The Lin Pingping she knew wouldn't resist or talk back. Xianxia fell over. Lin Pingping, how dare you do this to my mother? Hong Bin rushed over, grabbing Lin Pingping by the hair, his face twisted with rage. Good, very good. There was a mocking smile on Lin Pingping's face. At last, she saw Hong Bin's true colors. Lin Pingping, I'm giving you one last chance. Apologize to my mother immediately. Or else, this isn't over. You really think I won't dare to divorce you? In Hong Bin's eyes, Lin Pingping's demand for a divorce was nothing more than a threat to scare him. Under ordinary circumstances, he wouldn't stoop to her level. But Pingping had dared to retaliate against Xianxia. That was unacceptable. Did she have no sense of her responsibility as a daughter-in-law? Daring to retaliate? Apologize? Why should I apologize to that old hag? Not only will I not apologize, I wish that she would die soon and be reborn. Lin Pingping gritted out. Xianxia shrieked with rage. She's out of line. Out of line. Bin, hurry, kill this bitch. Hong Bin was beyond angry. He felt his masculinity was being trampled, grabbed Lin Pingping's hair tightly, and started bashing her head against the wall. Bang, bang, bang. Soon, Lin Pingping's head was bleeding profusely. Despite this, Xianxia was still not satisfied. She grabbed a rolling pin from the kitchen and joined Hong Bin, as they both started punching and kicking Lin Pingping. Hong Yuanyang just stood by and watched. The noise woke up Hong Meiyue. She rolled up her sleeves and joined in the assault. Hit her, kill this damn woman. She dares to fight over our house. Disgusting. Shameless. No one in the family showed any mercy. Pain was spread across her whole body. Just then, the door was pushed open, and a few uniformed police officers walked in, like a stream of light piercing through darkness. At that moment, Lin Pingping saw hope. She shook off the punches and kicks, trying to crawl towards the police, leaving a long trail of blood on the floor. Police officer, please help me. After saying that, she fainted. Comrade, are you all right? Two female officers rushed over to help Lin Pingping. The entire Hong family was stunned. They had not anticipated that the police would suddenly show up, especially at this moment. Xianxia was the first one to react. She laughed and said, "It's a misunderstanding. Officer, it's just a misunderstanding. We're family just having some fun." "Nobody move," a stern voice came. "We received an anonymous tip that the four of you are trying to murder someone. You're all coming with us." Divorce, then by the shop. _4. Attempting murder. Such a grave accusation, it's too heavy for anyone to bear. Hong Meiyue burst into tears instantly. "No. I didn't. I don't want to go to jail." Xianxia was crying and making a scene, publicly throwing a tantrum. Injustice. Oh heavens, it's really unfair. Does our own family fooling around constitute a crime? The people's police aren't fooled by Xianxia's ploy. After all, when they arrived, their family of four was causing harm to someone's life. Fooling around? And during this fooling around, blood was shed? Four family members were forcibly taken away. Lin Pingping was sent to the hospital. The hospital examination results showed severe concussion, extensive soft tissue contusions all over her body, a fractured tibia, and deemed a critical first-degree injury. The four members of the Hong family suspected of murder were detained in the police station for investigation. When Madame Mo arrived at the hospital that night, she burst into tears, crying out that she was sorry for Lin Pingping. Lin Pingping lay on the hospital bed, wiping away tear stains from Madame Mo's face. "Auntie, I'm fine. Don't cry. It's not your fault, it's mine for not standing up for myself." If she had taken Madame Mo's words to heart back then, she wouldn't be in this situation today. Mo Qishan frowns deeply and lands a punch on the window. Where is that beast? Where is he now? The iron window frame ended up with a small dent from his punch. Lin Pingping smiles. "Qishan, don't be angry. Hong Bin and his family have been arrested. I believe that the people's police will vindicate me." "Older sister, why didn't you tell me about this earlier?" Mo Qishan turns his eyes towards Lin Pingping. Lin Pingping sighs softly, refraining from a response. Madame Mo gently pats Lin Pingping's hand. "Good girl, it's all in the past." Lin Pingping has filed a divorce lawsuit with the People's Court, producing evidence of Hong Bin's infidelity. 3 days later, news from the police station indicates that Hong Bin is sentenced to life imprisonment for attempted murder and rogue offenses. Xianxia and Hong Meiyue, as accomplices, are sentenced to 5 years. Although Hong Yuanyang was not involved, he neither prevented it nor called the police, so he was also sentenced to a year. The court quickly passed the judgment. approving the divorce requested by Lin Pingping. All properties under both their names now belong solely to Lin Pingping. Lin Pingping lies in her hospital bed looking out at the sun, her mouth curling into a slight smile. Just like the sunshine outside, her life also gets a fresh start. Her sacrifice was certainly not in vain. Throughout her hospital stay, Lin Pingping persistently applies acne cream. Whether it's an illusion or not, she always feels that her acne has reduced quite a bit. Her complexion also isn't as red as before. Lin Pingping looks at her face in the mirror and is momentarily dumbstruck. Pingping, it's time for dinner. Madame Mo's voice can be heard from outside the door. Even though they have a maid at home, Madame Mo insists on personally caring for Lin Pingping every day. Lin Pingping hastily puts down the acne cream, uses her crutch to get up, and heads out. Auntie. Be careful, cousin. Mo Hudi runs over to support Lin Pingping. Lin Pingping smiles. Cousin, I'm fine. Madame Mo hands a bowl of chicken soup to Lin Pingping. Pingping, drink your soup first. Seeing Lin Pingping's complexion, Madame Mo looks surprised. Pingping, have you been using some medication these days? Your complexion is improving each day. Really? Of course it's true. Madame Mo nods her head. After finishing the chicken soup, Lin Pingping continues. Auntie, actually there's something else I haven't told you yet. Half a month ago, I attempted to drown myself in the lake. What? Madame Mo stands up in surprise. Lin Pingping holds Madame Mo's hand and speaks softly. Auntie, don't worry, listen to me first. Lin Pingping recounts everything to Madame Mo. Madame Mo listens with trembling heart. She never expected that Lin Pingping would actually attempt to jump into a river. Luckily, a benefactor appeared. If it weren't for this benefactor, Lin Pingping would now be. As she listened, Madame Mo sensed something was not right. She grabbed Lin Pingping's hand. Pingping, what was the name of the girl who saved you? Her name is Ni Yang. Yang. Madame Mo looks surprised. Auntie, do you know her too? Lin Pingping is also surprised. Divorce, then by the shop. 5 Mo Hudi excitedly said, Cousin, Sister Ni Yang is the one who cured me. Is it really the same person? Lin Pingping continued, the Ni Yang I know. She even opened a noodle restaurant in the city. Mrs. Mo was thrilled. It is her. It knows doubt about it. It's Yang. She even prepares breakfast for me every morning. I didn't expect Yang to be so kind-hearted. She is indeed the little lucky star of our family. We must find the time to thank her properly. Lin Pingping was still a little incredulous. Mrs. Mo laughed. I ask you, isn't Yang really beautiful, and doesn't she have 2 dimples when she smiles? Not everyone could earn Mrs. Mo's praise for being beautiful. Moreover, dimples are rare. You might meet one in 10,000 people. Lin Pingping nodded, excitedly said, Yes. And we are really talking about the same person. At the moment, the niece and nephew praised Ni Yang from head to toe without hesitation. In the noodle restaurant, Ni Yang, who was busy wiping the table, inexplicably felt her ears burning. She touched her ear, it was a little hot. Wang Jinfeng teased her, Yang, if your ears are hot, someone must be thinking of you. Ni Yang laughed and said, Aunt Jinfeng, all you know is joking with me. Why don't you say someone is scolding me? Wang Jinfeng said, Yang, whoever dares to scold you, your Aunt Jinfeng will be the first to not let them go. At that moment, the door was pushed open, and a tall and straight figure came in from outside. Wang Jinfeng gave Zhou Qingshang a wink, and the two tacitly turned and went into the back kitchen. Brother Mo. Seeing the figure, Ni Yang walked over with a smile. Yang. Mo Qishan was almost blinded by the 2 shallow dimples. His wife seemed to be more and more beautiful. It's all right for her to look good. Why are even her dimples so charming? Mo Qishan followed Ni Yang in. Looking at Ni Yang's back, he cooled off a bit. Brother Mo, sit. Ni Yang pulled out a chair. Thank you. Mo Qishan bent over to sit down, took out several cups from his bag. Yang, these are the disposable paper cups you asked for last time, a few samples brought by my friend. Check if this is what you need. 4 paper cups in total. All were made according to Ni Yang's design, but the material and thickness were different. Ni Yang picked up 4 cups for comparison, then pointed to one of them and asked, "How much is this one, Brother Mo?" This question. Mo Chishan really hadn't thought about it. 3 for a penny. Mo Chishan hesitated a moment, then replied, "After all, they are just disposable items. It would be unreasonable if they were too expensive. This price should be pretty fair, right? Is it so cheap?" Ni Yang was a little surprised. Although disposable paper cups are indeed not expensive and have a low cost, the current technology in the country is still immature. Not many people can produce this type of paper cup. The price should be a bit more expensive. After all, rarity makes a thing precious. Ni Yang speculated that one had to import equipment to make them. Mo Chishan laughed. "Is it still cheap? I was intending on bargaining with you. Don't think the paper cup is hard to make in other factories. But at my friend's, there is hardly any difficulty at all. As the saying goes, no cheater, no merchant. Are you worried that he will lose money?" That seems to make sense. Ni Yang went on to say, "Then Brother Mo, could you help me order 10,000 of them?" Mo Chishan nodded. "Okay, remember, if I'm not around in the future, you can call this number to have them deliver." He handed Ni Yang a piece of paper with a phone number. "Then I'll pay you first." Ni Yang took out 4 large notes and handed them to Mo Chishan. Mo Chishan laughed and said, "Well, take care of that when they arrive. There's no need to rush. By the way, Yang, when do you plan to want them?" Ni Yang replied, "No rush for time, just whenever they're finished." Mo Chishan nodded, "Okay." After discussing the important matters, Ni Yang continued, "You sit and rest for a while, brother. I'll bring you something to eat." "Okay." Mo Chishan couldn't help but touch his chin. Could it be that his wife really regarded him as a little girl? Before long, Ni Yang brought out a tray with milk tea and other snacks. Divorce, then by the shop. _6. The two sat at the table, chatting while they ate. "Oh, Yang, I forgot to tell you that I bought a house." "Is it in Beijing?" Ni Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. "Yeah." Mo Chishan nodded. "I plan to keep it as a dowry." Ni Yang continued, "Brother Mo, if you really want to keep it as a dowry, I suggest that you should buy a house near Donghuching River. Donghuching River is located on the Second Ring Road in the future. In her future memories, houses within the Second Ring Road in Beijing sold for more than tens of thousands of yuan per square meter. Ordinary people couldn't afford such a house in their lifetime. But at this time, no one wanted houses within the Second Ring Road. The price per unit was only 100 yuan per square meter. It was 4 or 5 times cheaper than a commercial property. Ni Yang also planned to buy several houses along the Second Ring Road once her business started to stabilize. Mo Chishan laughed. "It looks like I need to work harder to make money. Otherwise, I won't be able to afford a wife." Ni Yang lifted her cup of milk tea towards him. "Let's work hard together." Mo Chishan clinked his cup with hers. "Cheers to that." After leaving the noodle restaurant, Mo Chishan rode away on his bicycle, disappearing around the corner. When he reappeared, he was sitting in the back seat of a high-end car. "Darning, go to the sales office." Wu Darning trembled. "Brother Six, you're buying another house? Hadn't he bought enough last time?" Mo Chishan took out a cigarette from his pocket and lit it slowly. "Last time, I bought a house near People's University. This time, I plan to buy a few near Donghuching River." Finished speaking, Mo Chishan added, "The current house price near Donghuching River is 100 yuan per square meter. Do you want to buy one too?" Wu Darning immediately shook his head. No, I've already sent my money back to my hometown for my parents to build a new house." Mo Chishan nodded. Wu Darning tentatively asked, "By the way, is this house purchase also your sister-in-law's idea?" Mo Chishan slowly exhaled a puff of smoke. Wu Darning glanced at Mo Chishan through the rearview mirror. He sighed softly. Why did such a smart man become stupid when he met a young girl? A moment later, Mo Chishan continued, "The design for the disposable paper cups has been confirmed by your sister-in-law. You can arrange for it to go into production in the next few days. Just make sure someone keeps a close eye on it." Wu Darning nodded. "All right." At around 7 in the evening, Ni Yang started her end-of-day tasks. Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang were cleaning inside, while Ni Yang was cleaning up the trash outside. As she swept, a few banknotes fell to the ground. Money falling from the sky. Ni Yang looked up and saw a middle-aged woman passing by. She quickly picked up the money and caught up. Auntie, wait a moment. The middle-aged woman stopped. Young lady, what's the matter? Auntie, did you drop this money? The middle-aged woman didn't immediately reach for the money, but felt in her pocket, then said, It's mine. Thank you, young lady. You're welcome. Ni Yang handed her the money. Take care. The middle-aged woman took the money, surprised. Hey, aren't you the young boss from the noodle restaurant next door? Ni Yang gave a slight smile. My name is Ni Yang. Do you know me? The middle-aged woman laughed. I run the stationery shop next door. Ni Yang said, So we are neighbors. Would you like to sit for a while at my place? When it comes to doing business, maintaining a good relationship with your neighbors is crucial. The middle-aged woman went on. Actually, we're moving out in a few days. As a matter of fact, we're selling our shop. Selling? Ni Yang continued. Auntie, can I take a look? The middle-aged woman nodded. Sure, young lady, come with me. Ni Yang followed the middle-aged woman's steps. Auntie, you can just call me Yang. The two arrived at the shop next door, and the middle-aged woman turned on the lights. The shop was not very big, only about 20 square meters. There was a counter at the front, and inside there was a small table and a bed. Through the middle-aged woman's introduction, Ni Yang learned that her name was Wang Xueme, 45 years old. She and her husband had been running the stationery shop for 7 or 8 years. Because their son was living abroad permanently, the old couple planned to sell the shop and go abroad to take care of their son. Divorce, then buy the shop. 7 Wang Xueme continued, Yang, if you really want to buy it, Auntie won't haggle with you. My place is small, just 22 square meters, I don't need the things inside, give me 10,000 yuan for everything. The store that Ni Yang bought was priced at 580 yuan per square meter. 22 square meters should be around 12,760 yuan by the normal price. For Ni Yang, this was equivalent to a pie falling from the sky. Importantly, the two stores were conjoined, which would be convenient for management later on. Ni Yang nodded. Okay, Aunt Wang, whenever you are free, let's get the contract signed. Yang, are you really taking it? Wang Xueme was somewhat surprised. That was quick. She didn't even negotiate the price. Quite a few people had come to see Wang Xuemai's shop, but they all complained that the price was too high. The shop was second-hand and they always offered a lower price, so it hadn't been sold yet. Some people even brought the price down to 5,000 yuan. Ni Yang said with a smile, Yes, I'm serious. If you don't trust me, I can pay you a deposit first. Wang Xueme, excited, grabbed Ni Yang's hand. Yang, you're not joking with Auntie, are you? Auntie, do I look like I'm joking? Wang Xueme continued. How about we sign the contract at noon tomorrow? Okay, Ni Yang nodded. I'm fine, you and Uncle decide whenever it's convenient for you. Wang Xueme laughed and said, All right, then it's settled. After this was settled, Wang Xueme laughed and took Ni Yang next door. Ni Yang said, Auntie, please wait a moment. Wang Xueme was initially stunned, then she nodded, All right. Ni Yang came out quickly. She was holding a glass bottle with brown liquid in it. Auntie, this is milk tea I made. Take it back and let Uncle try it. Wang Xueme accepted with a smile. Yang, then I won't stand on ceremony. Ni Yang smiled slightly. No need to be polite. When she got home, Ni Yang told Ni Zuihua about buying the shop. Ni Zuihua expressed her concerns. Yang, your noodle restaurant just opened, will you be able to handle it? And buying a shop must cost a lot of money, right? Now with just one shop, Ni Yang was leaving home around 3 o'clock every morning. If she opened another shop, wouldn't Ni Yang be overwhelmed? Ni Yang was only 17 this year, and kids her age from ordinary families hadn't worked this hard before. Ni Zuihua was really worried about her. Ni Yang said with a smile, Don't worry about the money. As for whether I can handle it, we can hire someone. There are so many people in the village, there has to be someone suitable. Hearing what Enai Yang said, Enai Tsuehua was relieved. If we're hiring, I think Gooden's mom and Zaiwa's mom are pretty good. Enai Yang nodded. Okay, after I pay the money tomorrow and finalize the deal, I'll go discuss it with Gooden's mom and Zaiwa's mom. Oh, Mom, how's the aloe harvest these days? Enai Tsuehua replied, now it's winter, and the aloe doesn't pup anymore. Everyone went to the mountains to find it. Yesterday, they brought about 20 jin in total. Okay, Mom, remember, no matter how much aloe they bring, we take it all. Don't worry about stockpiling. Enai Tsuehua nodded her head. These days, Enai Tsuehua has learned how to make face wash and aloe gel, so she can pretty much handle all of the skincare product making, and Enai Yang doesn't need to worry about it. Enai Yang played with little Enai Yun for a while, then went to the kitchen to cook. First, she took out some beef bone that was bought yesterday, and half of an old mother chicken. After washing them and parboiling, she put them in the casserole to make soup. With seasonings like green onions, ginger, and star anise added in, the aroma soon filled the air. Enai Yang went to wash some greens, tofu skin, mushrooms, and meatballs. While the soup was simmering, Enai Yang prepared 3 appetizers that were good for beauty and skin nourishment. About an hour and a half later, the kitchen was filled with a fragrant aroma. After the soup was done, Enai Yang started to blanch the rice noodles. She put the blanched rice noodles in a large bowl, layered cooked greens, tofu skin, meatballs, and so on, then sprinkled some green onions, chopped garlic, and cilantro, and finally poured in the well-cooked soup. If you like spicy food, you can add a spoonful of chili pepper. A comforting bowl of rice noodles was ready. The rice noodles were chewy and full of taste. When you bite into it, the delicious flavor of the beef bone soup and the chicken soup infused in the rice noodles is irresistible. When Enai Yang eats rice noodles, she likes to roll them up with chopsticks. It's quite satisfying to bite into a mouthful, and the taste of the rich and flavorful soup after finishing the noodles is unspeakably delicious. Enai Yang squinted her eyes in satisfaction, showing a slight dimple on her cheek. Besides the busy times every day, this was probably her happiest time. Enai Chinga ate a large bowl and then scooped up half a bowl more. Yang, these rice noodles taste really good. He absolutely loved it. Enai Tsuehua also had 2 bowls of it. With Enai Yang's beauty recipes, they were not afraid of gaining weight. After dinner, Enai Chingui did the dishes. Enai Tsuehua put Enai Yun to bed, and Enai Yang was sent to rest. With nothing to do, Enai Yang went back to her room and counted the money she had earned these days. She was originally planning to deposit this money in the bank tomorrow, but an unexpected opportunity fell into her lap. Enai Yang counted and found out that her savings now totaled 15,896 yuan. She had more than 4,000 yuan when the noodle restaurant opened, and the remaining 800 yuan was earned from selling skincare products these days. In other words, the turnover of the noodle restaurant has reached 10,000 yuan in just 8 days. But after paying for the shop tomorrow, her savings will be back to square one. It's okay. Once the milk tea shop opens, her turnover is likely to double. When the money keeps rolling in, her business can grow bigger and bigger. Enai Yang sorted out 10,000 yuan and put it in her wallet. The next morning, Enai Yang went out early. At lunch break, Enai Yang went to the neighboring shop with the money. Wang Zuimai's husband, Zhao Xing, like Wang Xueme, is also an honest man. Seeing Enai Yang coming, he quickly began to make tea and take out sunflower seeds for her. Enai Yang laughed and said, "Uncle, you don't have to fuss." Wang Xume said, just let him. We'll chat while drinking tea in a moment. By the way, Yang, the milk tea you gave us last night was really tasty. Much better than the big pear soda sold outside. Became the favorite in the village, found out about Li Xianxian's background under One forget about pear soda, even Hua and Jianlibo drinks don't taste as good as the milk tea made by Enai Yang. No wonder Enai Yang's noodle restaurant has such a long queue every day. It turns out the food and beverages are that delicious. If it were her, she would be willing to queue every day. Zhao Xing came over, handed the brewed tea to Enai Yang. Yang, have some tea. Thank you, uncle. Ni Yang stood up, took the teacup with both hands and thanked him. Zhao Sheng discreetly took a good look at this young lady, full of admiration. Despite her young age, her manners, conduct, and courtesy all surpassed any adult standards. How many other children would know to receive a teacup with both hands? And to stand up to give thanks? Although it's just a simple action, it embodies the 5,000-year-old history of tea etiquette in China. This little girl is destined for big things in the future. Ni Yang took a sip from her teacup, then put it down on the table. Wang Suanyi added, Yang, although my shop is small in size, it's really well located and warm in winter, cool in summer. It's not only good for business, but also for living. If it weren't for us going abroad, your uncle and I would hate to sell it. Ni Yang continued, actually, you could consider renting out the shop. By the time you and uncle decide to come back, you could reclaim it. Even though she really wanted to buy the shop, she wasn't going to force anyone. Trades like these require satisfaction from both parties. Wang Xueme smiled. This trip abroad might be permanent for us. Our son has strictly instructed us to settle everything domestically before leaving. Ni Yang nodded. Wang Xueme then brought out the contract. Yang, we have prepared the contract. If there are no issues, we can sign it. The contract was produced in duplicate. Ni Yang took one, skimmed it carefully. After confirming there were no issues, she signed her name. Her autograph was bold and free, clean and forceful. It didn't look like a young teenage girl's handwriting at all. Zhao Sheng's 25-year-old son was an international student in M country. Even he couldn't write such good handwriting. Zhao Sheng kept his copy of the contract and said, Yang, if you're tight on money, you can first pay us 5,000 yuan. The remainder can be transferred to us via bank after we leave the country. Wang Xueme nodded. Yes, Yang, don't worry about the money, your uncle and I are in no great rush for it. The couple knew that Ni Yang was just a little girl who was struggling on her own. They would never be this lenient with anyone else. Since Ni Yang didn't look like someone who would default on payments, they trusted her. Ni Yang smiled. Thank you, uncle, thank you, auntie. However, I do have just enough money right now. I would prefer to pay everything up front to avoid any future hassles. On hearing this, the couple was taken aback. This was not a small amount. They had scrimped and saved for many years to put aside a little over 100,000 yuan. Ni Yang had only been running her business for a few days and she had already made this much money? Moreover, this little lady was dressed simply. One would have never guessed she had 10,000 yuan on her. Ni Yang took out the money from her bag and handed it to Wang Xueme. Auntie, please count. The couple was momentarily stunned before they took the money from Ni Yang. A stack of 10,000 yuan, neatly wrapped in a handkerchief. The handkerchief had a faint fragrance. From this detail alone, one can tell that the owner of the handkerchief is meticulous. After counting the money and confirming that there were no issues, they handed Ni Yang the keys to the house. Yang, from now on, this house is yours. If you can sell any of the stationery in the house, sell them. Throw away the things that you can't sell. We will accompany you to do the transfer of ownership tomorrow, as we will be leaving the day after. Ni Yang took the keys. Uncle and auntie, I wish you a smooth journey. Wang Xueme smiled, and we wish you prosperous business and a bright future. Ni Yang gratefully accepted their good wishes with a smile. Became the favorite in the village, found out about Li Xianxian's background understood. The following day, Zhao Sheng and his wife, Wang Xueme, accompanied Ni Yang to the local housing bureau to handle the property transfer formalities on time. The property transfer process went very smoothly. After returning from the housing bureau, Ni Yang stood in front of the shop, the corners of her mouth curling slightly. The warm winter sun seeped through the leaves, evenly illuminating her and casting a golden glow on her. Tranquil, ethereal. Under her presence, all the pedestrians and vehicle on the street became mere backdrop. Slow down, said a man in the back seat of the car, suddenly. Oh, okay. Li Gongqing carefully slowed down. This is where Ni Yang opened her noodle restaurant? The man spoke again. Li Gongqing replied, yes, second master. Xiaoni currently runs a noodle shop here. Park the car, the man continued. Li Gongqing immediately pulled over to park. As soon as the car stopped, the man got out of the car. "I'll step out for a moment, you wait in the car." Li Gongqing looked at the man through the rearview mirror and respectfully said, "Okay, second master." The man was none other than Song Beiqing. Ever since his extravagant invitation was rejected by Ni Yang, Song Beiqing had been quite interested in this young girl. He even once suspected that Ni Yang was employing a clever tactic of retreat for advancement. But after a long wait, he did not see any further moves from Ni Yang. Song Beiqing considered himself insightful towards people, but he could not see through Ni Yang. This young girl, deep and unpredictable. Song Beiqing casually adjusted his tie, his eyes hidden behind his glasses. The golden rim of his glasses reflected a sharp light in the sun, seemingly oblivious to the closed sign hanging on the door. Without a second thought, he pushed open the glass door and entered. Ni Yang was checking accounts at the counter. Hearing the noise, she raised her eyes slightly and said, "Sorry, we are closed now. If you want to eat noodles, please come back at 2:30 in the afternoon." "Wait, why does this man look familiar?" Ni Yang quietly furrowed her brows. Song Beiqing quirked the corner of his lips. "Miss Ni seems to have a forgetful memory. Even I am forgotten?" Meanwhile, there was a hint of disappointment in Song Beiqing's heart. Any woman who saw him would do everything possible to please him or be preoccupied with him. Ni Yang, on the contrary, put him behind her mind directly. It was only then that Ni Yang reacted and smiled, "Mr. Song." So she still remembers him. Song Beiqing carried on as usual. "Do you need anything from me?" Ni Yang continued to ask. Ni Yang had no good impression of Song Beiqing. This man was simply the embodiment of a capitalist, thinking he could do whatever he wanted because he was rich, overbearing, and autocratic. Song Beiqing casually found a spot and sat down. "I don't need anything from Miss Ni. I'm here to eat noodles." He was curious to see how good these noodles were, praised so much by Granny Mo. Ni Yang pointed to the sign hanging outside the door and asked with a smile, "Mr. Song, can't you read?" The sign clearly stated closed. Song Beiqing smiled lightheartedly. "Miss Ni is correct, I really don't know how to read." Ni Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. "Well, Mr. Song, you can at least understand human speech, right?" Song Beiqing nodded. "Miss Ni is indeed intelligent and bright. No wonder my grandmother likes you so much. I really don't understand human speech." Ni Yang nearly choked on her own saliva. She'd met shameless people before, but she'd never met anyone as shameless as Song Beiqing. Such profound skills. She decided to consider him as someone who needed special care. "Wait here." Ni Yang glanced at Song Beiqing once more before walking towards the kitchen. "Wait a moment." Song Beiqing spoke again. Ni Yang stopped in her tracks. Song Beiqing continued, "Miss Ni, you're not being professional. You didn't even ask the customer for dietary restrictions." Ni Yang gave a slight smile and said word by word, "May first ask if you have any dietary restrictions?" Song Beiqing replied, "I don't eat onions, ginger, or garlic. I'd like a lot of cilantro and a cup of milk tea." It sounded like he was really here for a meal. Ni Yang nodded. "All right, please wait for a moment." A moment later, Ni Yang brought a bowl of delicious pickled vegetable noodles and a cup of creamy and delightful milk tea. The sour, spicy, and savory smell of sour fish hooked onto Song Beiqing's appetite instantly. Head had the finest banquet dishes and dined at overseas Michelin restaurants, but he couldn't help himself from thinking at this moment that neither the distinguished banquet dishes nor the Michelin restaurants could stack up against the aroma of the bowl of noodles in front of him. Became the favorite in the village, found out about Li Xianxian's background as initially, he only wanted to tease Ni Yang, but now, he was impatient to have a taste of the noodles. Song Beiqing picked up the chopsticks, picked up a few strands of noodles and put them in his mouth. The taste that met his tongue made him close his eyes contentedly. It was tangy and crispy, addictively delicious. At this point, he started to understand why Granny Mo enjoyed these noodles so much. Because the taste was just too amazing. Before he knew it, Song Beiqing had finished a large bowl of noodles, even forgetting his own neat freak tendencies. Satisfying his craving for the noodles wasn't enough, Song Beiqing drank all of the noodle soup as well. At this moment, Song Beiqing was utterly conquered by the delightful food. Where was the decorum of Mr. Song? After finishing the noodle soup, Song Beiqing realized that he hadn't touched the milk tea next to him, so he picked up the cup and took a sip. The taste of the milk tea did not disappoint him either. Men usually didn't take a liking to sweet things, but this milk tea was different. It had the refreshing bitterness of tea and the richness of milk. Combined together, it was simply a pleasant surprise to the taste buds. Miss Ni, Song Beiqing looked up at Ni Yang. Are you really not considering my previous invitation? This time, Song Beiqing was genuinely sincere. He really was smitten by Ni Yang's culinary skills. Ni Yang smiled lightly. Does Boss Song have amnesia? Song Beiqing continued, I'll give you $1 million salary. As he said this, he held up 2 fingers. 2 million. Really throwing his money around. The girl looked so beautiful, and her cooking was excellent. Bringing her back for 2 million wouldn't be a loss for him. Ni Yang was silent, continuing to play with the abacus under her fingertips. 2.5 million? 3 million? 3,100,000? All that answered Song Beiqing was the click-clack of the abacus beads. Song Beiqing slightly raised an eyebrow. Could it be that she was calculating how much money she could make in 2 years, 3 years? He knew it. No one could resist the allure of money. Even Ni Yang, who professed to be self-reliant, couldn't refuse this astronomical sum. No need to calculate, Song Beiqing continued. 1 year is 3.01 million, 2 years is 6.02 million, 3 years is 9.03 million, 10 years is 31 million. But Ni Yang acted as if she hadn't heard Song Beiqing's words, continuing to play with her abacus. Why wasn't she speaking? Song Beiqing frowned. Could she have been scared dumb by these large figures? Indeed, her bowl of noodles only sells for 3 cents a pop. She'd have to sell 100 million bowls of noodles to earn back 31 million. 100 million bowls of noodles, enough for her to sell for a lifetime. Song Beiqing chuckled. Miss Ni, why aren't you speaking? Don't worry, Song, don't have many good qualities, but one never go back on my word, since I promised a salary of 3.01 million, I will definitely keep it. If you... Just then, Ni Yang slightly lifted her head, interrupting Song Beiqing's unfinished words. Mr. Song, one know you're filthy rich and could easily rival a country's wealth. If you're really worried about having too much cash on your hands, there are still many impoverished areas in China waiting for your kind donations, so could you stop toying with me? This person really has issues. Song Beiqing thought she seriously believed he was just making fun of her, and quickly clarified, Miss Ni, I'm serious, I'm not making fun of you. Is 3 million that much? When had he ever spent less than 3 million on a woman? Ni Yang laughed. If our paths do not cross, we do not become conspirators, Mr. Song. If you've finished your food, could you leave quickly? One planned to take a noon break. She refused again. Ni Yang actually refused him again. But this time, Song Beiqing wasn't planning to back down. He didn't believe that Ni Yang would really give up the 3 million. Song Beiqing stood up, faced Ni Yang, and spoke slowly. Miss Ni, I only give one chance. I hope you don't regret it. When his sentence ended, Song Beiqing turned and walked away. The clear lens of his glasses concealed well all the emotions in his eyes. Simultaneously, Song Beiqing was silently counting to 3 in his heart. He believed that by the time he counted to 3, she would definitely call out to stop him, because he really knew women too well. Just as he thought, when he finished counting 2, Ni Yang caught up with his steps. Wait! A small smile tugged at Song Beiqing's lips. He pushed his glasses up and turned to look at Ni Yang. He was about to chide her, but Ni Yang stretched out her hand and spoke before him. Boss Song, if you can afford a salary of 3.01 million, surely you wouldn't mind paying the 60 cents for the noodles? Chapter 218. Became the favorite in the village, found out about Li Xianxian's background _4. What? Ni Yang came to ask him for the bill? This development seems off, doesn't it? Could it be that Ni Yang didn't regret it and came to catch up with him? Song Beiqing was dumbfounded. What's the matter? Ni Yang looked at Song Beiqing and continued, You're not planning on dining and dashing, are you, Mr. Song? A shallow dimple appeared at the corner of her mouth, and her bright peach blossom eyes, mischievous like a cat's, caused Song Beiqing to become transfixed. Mr. Song. Ni Yang spoke again. Song Beiqing finally snapped out of it and took out a large unity note from his pocket. No need for change. Ni Yang fished out some spare change from her pocket and forced it into Song Beiqing's hand. Don't worry, Mr. Song, we are not some kind of black shop. Song Beiqing looked at Ni Yang. Ni Yang, you really don't regret it? Ni Yang made a pleased gesture. Mr. Song, take care. Song Beiqing took a step forward. Ni Yang, I will never give you a second chance, are you sure? Ni Yang firmly shut the door. Through the glass door, Song Beiqing saw her immediately turn around and go into the kitchen. She didn't even look back at him. Song Beiqing narrowed his eyes, and through the lens of his glasses, a sharp glint flashed in his eyes. Is it that there really are people in this world who don't love money, or was his offer not enough? 3 million, it really wasn't a small amount. This girl had shattered the image of other girls had known before. Song Beiqing held the money in his hand, maintaining his usual expression while returning to his car. Shall we, let's go. Without saying anything more, Li Gongqing naturally didn't dare to ask any questions. The car quickly departed from the avenue lined with Chinese parasol trees. Ni Yang went into the kitchen and told Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang about purchasing the adjacent shop. Aunt Zhou and Jinfang, the previous owner, left some old furniture and daily necessities behind in the neighboring shop. Go have a look and see if there's anything you can use. If there is, feel free to take it with you when you head home later. Wang Jinfang wiped her hands on her apron, looking a bit embarrassed. Yang, don't you want them? Zhou Qingshang also said, Yes, Yang, keep them for yourself. Ni Yang laughed and said, We bought new pots, bowls, and dishes when we moved, so it would be a waste to bring more back. Come on, I'll take you there. At this time, life in the countryside was not easy. Even scraps of old cloth could be put to use, not to mention pots, bowls, and dishes. Wang Jinfang and Zhou Qingshang happily took several daily necessities they could use. This family must have been so rich. They left behind so many good things. Yeah, I see many items are still brand new. People in the city are rich. While taking stuff, the two marveled. Ni Yang saw that besides daily necessities, pots and pans, there were also a lot of unopened stationery and school bags. She found 2 snake skin bags to pack all the school bags and stationery. After she finished cleaning the room, it was time to open for business. Ni Yang began to get busy again. When she came home that night, she showed Ni Zuihua the stationery and school bags she had brought back. Ni Zuihua said, Yang, let me pick a nice little school bag for Yun. Then, give the rest to the other children in the village. It's a waste to keep them at home. Ni Yang smiled and said, Mom, you're thinking what I'm thinking. Ni Yang called Gooden over, who then called other kids to come. In no time, Ni's small courtyard was bustling with children. At that time, the school bags that the children used were made by their grandparents or mothers. They were simple designs, made by splicing scraps of cloth into a bag and attaching a strap. As long as they could carry it on their shoulders, it was enough. Having a backpack like the ones in their textbooks was a dream many children yearned for. Wow, this school bag is beautiful, just like the ones I saw in the city. Thank you, Sister Ni Yang. Sister Ni Yang, you are so kind. Tutu Ni Yang laughed. In addition to the school bags, Sister Ni Yang also wants to give each of you a pencil box, 3 pencils, and an eraser. But, she paused here, you have to promise Sister Ni Yang one thing. Sister Ni Yang, tell us. Chapter 219 became the favorite in the village, found out about Li Xianxian's background as Ni Yang continued. You must promise Sister Ni Yang, study hard, strive for progress every day, and become a useful person in the future. Gooden scratched his head in puzzlement. Sister Ni Yang, why do we need to study hard? If we don't study hard, does it mean we won't be a useful person in the future? With a slight smile, Ni Yang squatted down and looked into Gooden's eyes. Studying hard will grant you the power to choose your future, to choose meaningful and liberating work rather than being forced to survive. When you feel your job is meaningful, you will feel accomplished. When your job leaves you time to live your life, you will have dignity. Accomplishment and dignity bring you happiness. A meaningful job makes you a useful person. Rather puzzled, Gooden nodded. All right, I'll take Sister Yang's advice, and I will study hard and strive for progress every day. Although Gooden didn't entirely understand her words, he knew that following Sister Yang's advice couldn't go wrong. Yang reached out and touched Gooden's little head. The other children seriously responded, "Don't worry, Sister Yang, we will all study hard and become useful people in the future. We'll earn a lot of money to buy a lot of delicious food and fun things for Sister Yang." In this era, many scrumptious and fun things are unattainable dreams for these children. Even though they don't currently have the ability, they can't wait to dedicate the best things to Yang. After distributing the backpacks and stationery to the children, Yang went to Zhou Qingshang's house to discuss the decoration of the new store with Wang Tiniu. Yang said, "Uncle Tiniu, let's hire the same guys as last time, the wages and construction period remain the same." Yang took out the money and placed it on the table. Wang Tiniu stood up and said, "According to your aunt, this shop is half the size of the last one. It doesn't require that many days or that many people." Yang laughed and said, "Let's just stick to this arrangement. The new year is coming, and I hope that we all can earn a little extra to have a good time. There isn't much farming work in winter. Everyone, apart from those still hunting for aloe vera on the mountain, is idle at home. However, with the aloe vera supply nearly exhausted, this money from Yang is like timely rainfall relieving many people's pressing needs. This money would undoubtedly make everyone's new year more prosperous. With this, they would have prestige when visiting friends and relatives." Wang Tiniu held Yang's hand, emotionally saying, "Yang, on behalf of everyone, I want to thank you." Yang smiled lightly, "Uncle Tiniu, you're earning the money in exchange for your labor, there is no need to thank me." After sorting out these matters, Yang left the Wang family. Wang Tiniu, on the other hand, went around spreading the good news. In the village, each house is adjacent to the other. At this moment, everyone was coming out, standing at their door discussing something quietly. Yang is such a good girl, she has helped us so much, they've been living in our village for such a long time now, shouldn't we also try and help them? Exactly, Lu Laolu, you seldom speak wisely, but you certainly did this time. So how can we help them? Let's help them apply for a residential plot, let them become bona fide residents of our village. I think that's reasonable too. How about we all head to the village council tomorrow? There's strength in numbers. We can definitely secure a residential plot for Yang's family. Lu Laolu, you should take the lead. Okay, Lu Laolu patted his chest. Tomorrow noon at 12:00, one will go door to door. None of you can back out. Anyone who does is a coward. With the way you're talking, how could we possibly back out of this? Everyone discussed and swiftly settled the matter. At this moment, Yang was cooking at home, oblivious of the villagers' actions. The next day during lunchtime, Yang found time to visit the detective agency. Upon seeing Yang arrive, Xiaozhou greeted her immediately, "Miss Enai." Yang nodded in acknowledgement. Dispensing with the small talk, she went straight to the point. "How's the investigation coming along?" Xiaozhou beamed. "Miss Enai, rest assured, the detectives in our agency are as good as their reputation. You're tuning in to the Wandering Hero YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.